Let me move these AirPods before this dopey dog gets them. Bad dog. I'm so unprofessional. I'll have one of those countdown. Do 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 do. Oh, bro, you need to calm down, Mr. Man. Mr. Mans. No. We're not chewing on a Snapple bottle. That's not happening. Here, why don't you go outside? Chew on the bottle. There you go. Oh, what's that? Good morning. Good morning, Kara. I'm going to plug my phone in because I never charged it last night. Let me do that. Somehow fell asleep without putting my phone on the charger. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, my God. I forgot I should kind of clean my screen here. Good morning. Good morning. I just got off the phone with, well, it's not Sprint anymore. It's T-Mobile. I can't make sense of the way these cell phone things work anymore. They told me that I had to cancel service. Get off of me, dude. You're on my head. Oh, wait, stop. They told me that I had to cancel service because we made the decision to get my son a phone for Christmas, right? So my husband and I have separate accounts because I refuse to leave Sprint, which is now T-Mobile, but I've been with Sprint. The lady just told me on the phone, she's like, you've been with us thank you very much, ma'am. You've been with us for 11 years. I'm like, yes, I have, but it's actually been longer than that because prior to that, I was on my mom's account. I think me and my mom shared the account. So from like when I was in high school, so I used to just pay my mom, the money for the bill. And then now, then I got on my own account. So yeah, 11 years ago. No, it had to be longer than that. That doesn't make sense. 11 years ago, I would have been in my 30s. I paid my own bill. Maybe it was like in my late 20s because I lived with my mom until I was like 28. So I think when I moved out, I put on my own bill. So her and I used to, I just give her my money for my phone bill every month. She would pay it for me. So anyway, so yeah, I've actually been with Sprint since I graduated high school. So since like the early 90s. My first little Nokia phone. Remember that shit with the little game Snake I used to play? So I've been with them for the longest time. My husband's been with Verizon. And I don't want Verizon. I'm like, the service sucks. He never has service. We'll be like at the hockey rink and he'll be like, oh, my phone doesn't work in here. My phone works everywhere. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not switching. So anyway, my son's phone's on his account, but I had my son's iPad, it had service. So like when we went away, or we were in the car, his iPad used to work. He had the internet on it. So I just canceled it. I'm like, he's growing up. I canceled the service on the iPad. And I'm talking to the lady because I bought my phone. Dude, I still have an iPhone 11. Okay. So I had my phone I bought it in June 2020 because I bought the iPad and the phone at the same time. Now, this is where things don't make sense. Okay. Because it was an 18-month lease. Right? So I paid that. That's way over 18 months. And they're still charging me $40 a month for the phone. And I'm like, how does that work? I don't understand that. I'm like, and she's like, well, if you get a new phone, like the iPhone 13 or 14, then your bill will be lower. Your payments will be lower. How the fuck does that work? Like, what? Like, that doesn't even make sense. But see, when they tell you that the 20-something dollars that you'll pay will be, less, they're lying to you because that's for like the base phone. That's for the cheapest phone with the less, it has like 5 megabytes of space. You know what I'm saying? Not megabytes, but whatever it is, terabytes or gigabytes, whatever. So I would want a phone with a little more space on it. So I'll end up paying $40 a month anyway, but that's besides the point. So stupid though. I'm like trying to understand them. Why would you lease the phone for 18 months and still charge me after that? Like, I don't know. I don't understand these phone things. I remember like it was so easy back in the day. They used to just give you a phone. Remember? Like, oh, you're eligible for an upgrade after 2 years. Now all of a sudden you have to lease the phone. Like, I never heard of such a thing. It doesn't make any sense. No sense at all. You guys hear me? I feel like my chat is not moving. I still have paint all over my screen. Let me try getting this off. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But anyway, I left you guys um I left you guys off kind of hanging yesterday. I know we probably so many people read that affidavit yesterday, but I can't believe I read 19 pages to you guys yesterday. Um yeah, you're responsible to cancel the lease if they keep charging you. Well, I just looked at the agreements on the thing that I signed, and it says that I don't know, you could buy the phone outright for $200. That still doesn't fucking make sense. I had to have paid this fucking thing off. If I bought it in June of 2020, I got to do some math. But you guys know I'm not that great at math, right? Oh yeah, it was a busy day yesterday. Very busy day yesterday. I read you guys that affidavit, and to be honest with you, I was kind of glad I did that because I wanted to my reading comprehension isn't all that great when I'm reading something, but it's a little better when I hear it. You know what I'm saying? My listening comprehension. Hey Navy, my listening comprehension is a little bit better than my reading comprehension. So I went back and actually listened to myself reading it. And oh my God. But I mean, I did all right. But anyway, I went back and I listened to it because I wanted to absorb all the information that I read, because while I was reading it, the dog decided to go fucking crazy. It was a little hectic. So, as a troll said when they came in here, they're like, oh, it's so hectic. Well, sorry, dude. I'm not a true crime channel, and I got a dog that's fucking going crazy right now. Anyway, but I did the best I can considering the situation, right? So after I was done reading it, I got to talk to you guys, but I was thinking in my head, I'm like, man, that was a really detailed affidavit, because I've read these arrest warrants before. And I've never seen one that was fucking 19 pages. Think about it, like the Chris Watts arrest warrant, thing that they let out back in the day. It was I don't even think it was a paragraph. It was so short from what I remember. Now they let out another thing about Chris Watts after what was it, before the discovery, and that thing was like 200 pages or whatever. That thing was really long, and I spent a whole weekend reading that. But I've read other arrest affidavits from other cases like Jodi Arias's, and none of them were that long and that detailed. So there was a couple of things though that when I went back and I listened, I was like, okay, they never explained a few things. So want to go, oh, there has to be more. Now the one thing that I've noticed after that, because I was watching some commentary on the news, I checked out my personal favorite is Hey JB, the guy from Florida, WFLA. They've been covering this case as well as many other cases, and that guy does a really good job, of explaining things and just you know going through things and helping people understand things. So I listened to a little bit of his commentary. I listened to some other commentary. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this guy, Cinema Shogun. I like him. I found him during the Petito case. I don't know. He's this big, heavy guy. And he gives a lot of commentary, but he's pretty good. So a lot of people, the one big thing that I've noticed that's coming is so many people are coming for this roommate who I didn't know her name was Dylan, but in the in the affidavit, I think it referred to her by her initials, whatever it was, D T or something like that. I don't remember the exact initials, but I feel bad for the girl, and I'm trying to think of scenarios in my head of what could have happened, because somebody had left a comment under my video from yesterday, and they were like, Laura's going for the girl, she's attacking this girl, and blaming her and accusing her of being part of the murder and everything. And I'll be honest with you, when I read, when I was reading that yesterday, I was like, dude, that's fucking weird. She saw this guy in the house, and then just went in her room. But I'm trying to imagine what could have happened and what we don't know, so I don't want to blame this girl. I highly doubt she was in on this, this murder. But because I think if she would have been, I think we would have known that by now. I mean, they went into his phone records, you know what I'm saying? And they would have made that connection. So, why she's saying that, I don't know, because it just takes a little bit of critical thinking to figure out that, that's probably not the case. She's probably not in on it. But at the same time, why didn't she? What happened there, And unfortunately for her, the arrest affidavit makes it look like she's just this fucking cold, uncaring person, but they couldn't put all the detail in there. So we don't know what happened. So I'm trying to imagine scenarios in my head of what could have possibly happened after she saw that guy, and I'm trying to think of all the information I do have, which is that house was a very busy party house where there was people in and out all the time. And and maybe, she just thought there was some type of argument. You have to look at it. When you're looking at something like this, you have to look at it like without having all the information that we have, right? You have to bring yourself back to that night. Nobody thinks, right? Nobody thinks if they see something, nobody thinks in their head, oh, my roommates are being murdered upstairs. You know what I'm saying? And even if they do, they're probably going to talk themselves out of it, because nobody thinks that's going to happen to them. From watching all these years of watching these crime shows, you hear people say that all the time, that they're like, you never think it's going to happen to you. So, I mean, maybe she thought there was some fucking crazy partying going up, on upstairs, or maybe there was a fight, or, you know what I'm saying? There's so many different scenarios that could have happened. And, she said she locked herself in the room. We don't know if she could have reached out to one of the victims upstairs and, tried to get in touch with them. Nobody knows. We don't know what happened. If she wouldn't open her door 3 times. She would just sat in her room. Hold on a second. What do you mean? I'm sure you're responding to something I just said, but I gotta clean my screen off, dude. This is like driving me nuts. There's all paint all over my screen, like little splatters of paint. You know what I'm saying? The affidavit is literally extreme abbreviation of what went on. Exactly. She could have gotten on the phone with somebody. Like, there's so many different scenarios that could have played out with this girl, so to blame her right now, I don't think it's fair. I understand, because the way you read it in the affidavit, it's like, wow, this girl like opens the door, sees a masked, guy walking through the house, which you have to remember, we don't know what type of mask it is. It could have been a ski mask, it could have been a COVID mask. You know what I'm saying? And that wouldn't be so weird. The guy had a mask on. People are still wearing masks, so, we don't know the lighting situation. Was it dark? Was it light? How much did she see? Did she just talk herself out of it? Did she fall asleep? Did she sit in her room scared? Maybe thinking that there was somebody in the house and she didn't want to move because she was, trying to save her own life. Like, we don't know what happened. Clearly, she didn't know what was going on, because there was a call, that was made the next day to 911, and I believe it was her. So, yeah, she's not in on it. There's no way, Hummingbird. She wouldn't open her door 3 times. Right. There's no way the girl was. Oh my God, dude, I'm going to kill you today. So you need to stop. Oh my God, dude. You just play it with your dog toys and not with everything else in the house. Thank you. You kill my son because he leaves shit everywhere. Okay, stop it. Right, that was the other thing I was thinking, curious. Maybe she was high. Maybe she was drunk. Like, we don't know that part of the story either. Maybe she was really shit-faced at the end of the night, and passed out. Like, you don't know. You just don't know what happened. So I don't think it's fair to blame the girl, for not calling 911 even. Could she have potentially, maybe saved somebody's life? I don't know, maybe, who knows? I don't know. Nobody knows that, and it's not fair to put that on her, I think she barely cracked her door where she saw him, and he didn't see her. Right, that's the other thing, Jamie. We don't even know, like, how, when she saw this guy, right, Was she standing there? Did he, look her up and down? Like, we don't know how detailed the confrontation was. I mean, she saw enough of him to know that he had bushy eyebrows and a mask on his face. So, and I'm sure that girl is beating herself up for all this shit. Dude, stop it. I'm sure that girl is beating the shit out of herself, since then. Not even just since this affidavit came out, but since this happened in November. She's probably feels a tremendous amount of guilt, and I'm sure she feels bad enough so that, people just want to like jump to conclusions all the time when they don't know. Just like they sit there and they accuse people. I mean, I wasn't following too closely prior to maybe like I want to say like a week or so before he got arrested, right? This guy, I knew the story, but I wasn't following all the details, and I certainly wasn't following the speculation bullshit because I just don't want to do that. But I did hear that people were, good morning, Beavers, morning, Ems. What do you call it? I did hear that people were accusing one of the ex-boyfriends, the guy Jack, get off the counter, dude. You're pissing me off right now. Stop. So, it's just like people jump to conclusions so fast without facts, without information. They just want to blame somebody. And I get it because it's crazy. 4, young people were killed in a horrific way. But you can't just jump and start blaming people, which is why I didn't want to follow too closely when I first heard about this story, because I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. It's going to get into this bullshit with the speculation and everything. So I just don't want to follow it. I don't want anything to do with it. Hold on. I'm going to try cleaning my fucking screen off right now. There we go. I can see you guys again. Yay. It was paint. You guys don't understand. Like, I read that whole thing through paint yesterday because I had paint all over my screen. Oh my God. Now I need to wipe this off though, because it left like a weird. Oh no. I don't think I should use these types of cleaners on here, but whatever. Yeah, so I mean, that part of it is to me the biggest part that people are discussing. But there's so much more to the story that we don't know, and we always have to keep that in mind. That this guy was stalking them, clearly. There had to be some type of connection there, whether it was he met one of those girls somewhere, whether it was at a party or, wherever he could have met them. It was weird to me, and this isn't even, just thinking about this, wasn't even in the affidavit, but I don't know if you guys watched it. There's a body cam footage of him and his dad being pulled over. Let's actually take a look at that. I want you guys to look at and study his face. And I'm going to go to WFLA's page because they zoomed in on his face. So let me see if I can find it. How come my computer's not working? Hello. Okay. There we go. That was weird. All right. Let me see if I can find this real quick in the live stream that I was watching last night. Like, this dude had to be shitting his pants. So the weird thing to me, right, was that when the cop pulls him over and you can't really hear exactly what he was saying, the cop is like, he mentioned something about some shooting that happened at the campus, right, that he's on, the Washington State University campus. And it's like, it was such a weird thing that he even mentioned that during this time being pulled over. Like, why would you even mention that? It was very odd. You can't really hear him, but you could hear the cop listening back, asking him back about it. Oh my God, Wendy V is fucking live. What does it say? Eat a bag of dicks. Okay. She's such an asshole, that woman. Okay, so let me find their live that I was watching last night, and then I'll just scroll through it. We're going to watch that. Canvas and I'm not stalking. Come on, Laura taught everyone the difference yesterday. Lori's an idiot, okay? Is that what she said? Canvassing, not stalking. They're going to put that in the, first of all, it's a cop who's writing it. And that's what a cop would call it, canvassing the area, which basically means like controlling and like checking out things and, you know, sussing everything out to see what's what and where's where, which he didn't do a very good job of, which we're going to talk about that after. We're going to talk about all the mistakes that this guy made. I mean, his biggest mistake was doing this in the first place, but, you know, just to have a little more in-depth discussion about all the mistakes that he made and maybe some of my theories about him. But hold on. But yeah, canvassing means that he was watching, dude. He was patrolling. He was, I mean, I don't know how many more words, but that doesn't mean he wasn't stalking. They're not gonna write stalking in the fucking thing, because you got to remember that they have to be very careful with their wording, okay, and being accusatory in the wording for court reasons, you know, down the road. But just because his phone was hitting on the what do you call it? And I guarantee you, if they looked through old video footage, they'd probably see him driving around. But you know, you'd have to go through. Think of how much footage you would have to go through. His phone was hitting towers that service that area. That doesn't necessarily mean he was in front of the house, but it seems likely that he was, you know. That's what they were trying to put in there, that he was in that area a lot. So it seems that way, though. You know, he would have to know how to get into the house. He obviously premeditated this. You know, he didn't just walk into the house. I mean, they didn't really get too much into that, but I think it's pretty obvious that he premeditated this. So let me I'm trying to find the stream that I was watching last night, just because I know that they have it zoomed in. So let me see. Oh my God, this dog is driving me fucking nuts right now. Seriously crazy. Hold on a second. Let's get through here. Wow, I watched a lot of videos about this last night. I didn't think I watched this much. Damn. What the hell? Wait a second. I did not watch all these videos. You know what? I have a feeling my phone, I don't know what the hell is going on, but my phone keeps going on like autoplay. Yeah, I didn't watch these. What the fuck? My phone must have been playing all night and I didn't even realize it. So here we go. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't remember watching this many videos. I think my phone went into like, I don't know why the autoplay keeps getting turned on my, like in my app, and I don't turn it on. I hate autoplay. It must have been playing all night. No wonder why my battery was dead. All right, let me see if I can just scan through here and find where they play the video. I hope this is the right video. I was looking, I'm like, damn, I don't remember watching all these videos. But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember waking up in the middle of the night and my heart was like pounding because I still had the videos playing in my head, in my ears, because I had my AirPods in and I fell asleep. Did I tell you guys I got new AirPods? My husband bought me the it was funny because I was on my live that day and I guess he don't listen, but I was like, I don't want the pros. I hate the rubber things that are in your ears. Well, guess what I got? The pros. But I was going to return them. And then I started looking online and I'm like, all right, let me see, like, what's the difference between the AirPod Pros and I had just the regular AirPod, whatever the latest version was. And it was like the AirPod Pros. This was the selling point for me. You guys ready? The AirPod Pros actually have, they have a, shit, I can't find this video. They actually have a thing that'll play a sound on the case. Okay, if you lose the AirPods, and that's what sold me, because I was like, oh yeah, because I lose shit all the time. So I was like, you know what, I'm keeping these, and I just have to get, you know, used to the rubber thing being in my ear. I felt a little better about it because it snaps in, so you know I don't have to worry about it getting lost in my ear or sticking in there because it kind of snaps into the AirPod. But it is weird because like when you put those things in, you're deaf to the outside world, dude. Like they plug your ear up like a pair of earplugs would. So it's like you're not hearing anything. And that kind of scares me. I don't like that. I don't like not being able to hear the outside world. So you could change the tips. So I just put the smallest tips that they have in there because I like to be able to hear a little bit of the outside world. You know, God forbid something happened. You know, I don't know. I just don't like it. They are better though in the car because my old ones, they didn't have the noise cancellation on them. You know, those tips. And I would not hear. Oh, okay, here it is. I did not hear my AirPods well when I was in my car because you have like just all the road noise. So that's the one thing I do like better too is that, you know, when I'm in my car and I'm driving and I have my AirPods in, like I could hear them. I could hear what's going on in my AirPods. All right, so let's take a look at this. I don't like wearing one. That drives me nuts. I don't know how people do that. God bless you people who do that. I can't. Like, I cannot fucking just listen with one ear. I need the balance out. So I could still hear though, because I put the smallest one in. So it doesn't like plug up my ear as much. All right, so let's take a look at this. Because it's really, look at this guy's face, dude. And imagine that face. Like, how the fuck? I have to like question, how do you sit in the car with your dad? Like, this guy didn't just lie to like other people. Like, he lied to his own parents, you know? He sat in the car with his dad for like hours and hours and hours. I don't know exactly how long their trip was. Like, I think it was like maybe 2 days or something, right? And drove with him. Like, and that's like, dude, that's an awkward thing. Like, you know, when you're in the car with just one other person, like, you know, you're kind of forced to have conversations and shit. Like, that had to be a very awkward, long car ride with his dad, knowing that he just did this. Like, I just can't imagine that. I don't know how people only do that with the one earbud. I can't do it. All right. Hold on. All right. So here's the thing. Ovi, you need to calm the fuck down. Dude. Let me just go back a couple of seconds.
So that you, our viewers, and the three of us, you, me, Josh, and Robert here, could get a better look at his facial expressions, his mannerisms, and we just get a...
Purple Rain, there's a little bit of conflicting stuff about the ancestry thing and that, because in the affidavit, it says that they got the DNA from the garbage, right? The dad's garbage. So they tested something from the garbage outside the house in Pennsylvania. Remember yesterday when Laura was like, oh, Pennsylvania's done. No, they're not, dude. They're very much a part of this investigation. She's such an idiot. But anyway, you know, they tested, so they had to go through his garbage in Pennsylvania, and they took something out of the garbage, they tested it, and it was the dad's DNA, so that they got. And then I'm sure they since have gotten his DNA, but they didn't mention anything about ancestry in the affidavit. So I don't know, you know, I don't know where that came from. I heard that like a while ago. I don't know how true it is, but yeah. All right. I'm pretty sure I have a connection. It spooked me since his name came out. Oh, Jesus, that's scary. All right, so let's
better
take a look
as
at this.
To who the suspect is in this case. Is about a 2-minute clip. We'll be back here in just a moment. Take a look.
Hello, how you doing? How y'all doing today? Good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man.
He's like, what happened? You can see his mouth movement. Look at that face right there, though, dude. His fucking eyes, dude. I told you guys this the other day. Like, I'm big on like looking at people's eyes. Like, I feel like you could really tell a lot about a person. This guy's eyes just fucking, I don't know, dude. They're creepy. They pierce through your soul. He's got those kind of like bugged out eyes, but he's got, I've said this on here a million times, Sampaku eyes, which means you can see 3 whites on the sides of his eyes. Like normal people, you really shouldn't see it. I'm sure some people have it, but his is pretty bad where you can see normal people, if you're looking straight ahead, you should only see the whites on the sides of your eyes. On his eyes, you can see the bottom portion as well. That's scary, dude. I don't know. His eyes are just look at that stare, dude.
Right up on the back end of that van, pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay.
And look how fucking calm he is, too. Like, you could tell he's nervous, you know, but we know that after the fact, right? Imagine watching this prior to knowing that this guy is the killer and just watching this on, you know, some random police body cam channel, right? And like, he don't look all that nervous when you really think about it.
Cool. Where are you headed? Well, we're coming from WSU.
So he tells the cop, I don't know if you guys can hear it all that well, because it's really hard to hear, even if you're listening with AirPods or earbuds in. He tells the cop, we're going to get Thai food. And the dad just like obviously is clueless, you know. He doesn't know why the son's saying that, you know. So he's like, well, actually, he's like giving him way too much information. He's like, we're actually coming from Washington University, like, and telling the guy exactly where they're heading. Look at his face. Watch his face when the dad does that too. Hold on.
Okay. Cool. Where are you headed? Well, we're coming from WSU.
Look, he's looking at the dad like, you fucking asshole. I shouldn't be laughing. This isn't funny, but he's like, yeah.
It's WSU.
Oh, he said something about I go to the university basically, and then I can't hear what he's saying after that. Something about the shooting.
So I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where? Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to imagine those eyes in a mask right now. Imagine like a mask over his face, right? And just seeing his eyes. Oh, dude, that's so scary.
Yeah, we're slightly punchy because we're driving for hours, days. Almost a day. Okay. And what did you say about some SWAT team thing? There was a mass shooting and everything.
See, like, I didn't hear him say that, but the cop like asks again. So like, what the fuck did that have to do with anything? Was he trying to distract the cop or make it seem like that was why he was leaving town, was because there was some mass shooting, which I looked it up because I was like, I think we would have heard about this, right? If there was like a mass shooting at that campus, there wasn't a mass shooting. So I don't know why he said that. Or maybe that's what the cop said, you know, maybe the cop misheard him because he couldn't, you know, he said he couldn't hear him. But I think he said, there was like, I mean, I think they said there was like a standoff or something. So there was somebody with a gun on the campus, but I don't think, you know, anybody got hurt. I think that the person who had the gun might have got hurt. So I don't know. That was just weird that he brought it up in this scenario.
Where?
No idea what he's saying.
Interesting. Well, it's horrifying because he's going to the university. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So y'all work at the university there? I actually do work there. Oh.
So if you think about this is a really weird conversation for somebody getting pulled over. And it's almost like he wanted to divert the conversation, but he's looking right at the camera right now. Oh my God, that's so creepy. Look at his eyes. He's like pinned on the camera right now. I didn't even notice that. Or at least it looks that way. You got to kind of feel bad for his dad in this situation. They shot a guy in Pullman. Okay. It happened morning of 15. They had already left. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's bullshit. But I feel like that's what he's trying to make it seem like. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to make it seem that way. Because really it has nothing to do with anything. You know, that has nothing to do with the reason why this guy is traveling, you know, and he had to be shitting his pants. Now, when they left, I don't know this, but maybe one of you guys could tell me in the chat. When he left, did the police already put out the thing about the Hyundai Elantra? Like when he got out of town, or was that after he had left that they put that out? I feel like the cops did that. Like they knew where he was the whole time with the Hyundai Elantra. I feel like they did that to play some type of game with him. and see what he would do, because they knew who it was. I think from very early on, and reading that arrest affidavit yesterday, it kind of shows that they knew who it was. But I don't remember. I remember hearing about the white Elantra like maybe like a week or two ago, or a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I don't remember the exact day. They put it out on the 7th. Okay, so then he left after that. All right. That's interesting. Yeah, that's what I heard. They planned this stop. And you can kind of tell now when you're watching it that it is kind of planned, because the question that the cop's asking, and it's like, was he really, like, they don't really pull people over for following too closely. Like, that's just a bullshit excuse, I feel like. I mean, I don't know. I would never get pulled over for that, because I'm like a fucking weirdo. Like, when I'm in the car with my husband, he drives up people's asses sometimes, and I'm like, get off this fucking person's ass. Like, you're gonna give me a heart attack. Like, I'm like one of those people that I'm like, I keep like 3 car distances between me and the car in front of me. Like, I do not like driving close up to people. I hate that, because I feel like if they slam on their brakes, you're dead, especially on the highway. But I don't know. I haven't people don't really get pulled over for that all that often. So it's kind of a weird thing. He was pulled over too many times for it to not be controlled stops. Yeah, exactly. He's pulled over twice, right? So, and I wonder if he knew. I think they pulled him over because they probably, number one, wanted to see who he's in the car with. You know what I'm saying? They said that they pulled him over to look at his hands, but I don't know. I don't know how true that is. He does kind of have his hand, and you can see it really good right here. His hands are kind of hidden in this. You see the one hand it's between his legs. He did take it out at one point. It was pointing, but it's hidden between his legs for the most part. I really felt bad for the dad. He looks really confused, though. You could see that, in his eyebrows right there. He's got that kind of confused look, like this whole thing doesn't make sense. Like, he had to know that the cops were onto him.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or? This happened this morning. About an hour and a half ago. They're still wrapping it up. I'm not sure there's 2 shoots, but they did shoot somebody. Let's see. And then you didn't know about that, actually. They were there.
The dad just keeps talking over him. I really wanted to hear his voice, because I wanted to know if his voice sounded similar to the voice that called into that show, but it's hard to hear.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay? All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. So that's that. I just wanted to show you guys how creepy his eyes are. And I don't know. He's just so calm, and when you think about it, this is a month after the murders. So he looks, he looks very menacing. Very menacing. His eyes just are so, I don't know. They're just so creepy. Like, just imagine, okay, not seeing the rest of his face and his hair and everything, okay, and him dressed in like normal clothes, and just seeing like a mask with those eyes sticking out. How fucking scary that would be. Because his eyes just, I don't know, man. Those eyes just creep me out, dude. They don't look right. So, AJ, there was this show, and I could play a little bit of it if you want, for you guys. There was a show that this guy T-Rev was doing. I think his channel's T-Rev 58. I'll play like the first minute or so, because I don't think we need to listen to the whole thing. Hold on a second. There was this show that this weird guy called in, and they seem to think, a lot of people think it's him, and I don't know. I don't know what to think, but the guy called in and was just saying,
you gotta stop doing
weird
this.
shit. Sorry, that was just playing. Oh, seriously, dude, you need to relax. Holy shit.
Koberger kind of bobbled. Where are you going to? We couldn't really hear what he was saying, but
okay. Ovi, calm yourself, dude. Do you hear this dog like going nuts over here? Holy shit. All right. Well, let's take a look at this. I don't even think I need to play it on screen because there's nothing to see, but yo, dude, calm down. Holy shit. It's like freaking going nuts right now. Bro, did you eat like some sugar this morning? Like, what is going on?
Call from
Dave.
Stop it.
Hey, what's up, Dave? You live?
Dude, stop. Stop it. You're being really annoying right now.
Hey, what's up, man? Is this T-Rev?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Not much, man. I found you today. I watched your live earlier this afternoon and been watching this one. And the thing that strikes me kind of weird about all this is that I live in a college town and I've worked with probably at least 10 Sigma Chi members. And, you know, the one thing that every single one of them I feel like has asked me is, if you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with it?
That was so creepy. Sounds like the guy from Scream. If you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with it? Like, I don't know. The way his voice is so creepy. People are thinking that this was him. Like, again, like Purple Rain just said in the chat. He said his name is Dave. He lives in Utah. But the whole scenario is just kind of weird that he's saying that he worked with these guys, 10 guys from Sigma Chi, not from, you know, the Idaho chapter, but from the Utah chapter. After this guy that runs this channel, his name's T-Rev 757. He said that he tried to get back in touch with this guy. The phone number traced to some name Dave something. I forget the last name. And he tried calling the number back to talk to the guy so that he could clear things up, that it's not, you know, Brian Koberger, and the guy hasn't gotten back in touch with him. So, you know, they're wondering if that's because it is Brian Koberger and he's been arrested. So, I don't know. I don't know. This is, you know, speculation, but this is a very weird conversation if you think of it, because it's almost like this caller is trying to get people to think that, oh, the murder must have been somebody at the Sigma Chi house. You know what I'm saying? Because there was also talk of that, you know, the fraternity or somebody from the fraternity being blamed. And it's almost like this caller, if you listen to the whole call, he's trying, and I'll put the link in the chat. He's trying to like direct people to kind of think that it's those people, like that it's like some type of ritual, right? For like, you know how they haze people into fraternities? Like it's something like that. Like he's trying to convince people that it's some type of like hazing or something that, you know, you have to do to get in with the fraternity. Like, you know, it's almost like he's trying to start some conspiracy about fraternities and shit. So I'll play a little bit more. You don't really need to go through the whole thing just because it gets kind of repetitive after like the first couple minutes. The guy just keeps asking him like questions and
I just wonder if maybe this is nothing more than some kid in a fraternity trying to prove himself. And that was it.
So you said you worked with 5 or 6 Sigma Chi kids, and they asked you how.
This is really funny because the host of the show isn't listening at all. And at the end of the call, he starts accusing the guy of like changing his story up. But he says right off the bat, you just heard him. He's like, I worked with 10 Sigma Chi guys, right? When the host asked him, he's like, to repeat it basically, he goes, so you said you worked with 5 or 6 Sigma Chi guys. He's the one who changed the number. And at the end of the call, the host of the show, he starts saying like, you know, oh, you changed your story. But it's like, no, you changed it, dude. And he's like, I'm a good listener. And I'm like, well, you're not that good of a listener because you didn't listen. He said 10 several times.
If you can kill somebody, they can get away with it?
Yeah.
Did I hear that right?
Yeah. And I know that's a thing that just like maybe people say, trying to like have interesting conversation, but like just in my head, it's like, it's always been these dudes that were in the fraternity. And so it makes me wonder if it's a thing that's in their like culture that they ask to see how smart you are and whatever, and what kind of answer you come up with, and someone took it too far.
Oh, wow.
If you guys could see the hold on a second. Let me share the screen just so that you guys can see what's going on, because there's, you can see the chat comments that are being pinned. People are like, this is kind of scary. It is kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. It's fucking weird.
What kind of dudes would ask you that?
I don't think that. All right, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I don't think that that's like too weird of a question for like, I don't know, college aged kids if they're drinking and they're like, if you're gonna kill somebody, how would you get away with it? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think that's that fucking weird of a question. It is kind of weird, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not like. Depends on how it's being said. People ask shit like that. I remember, I'll never forget this. I was in the car one time with my cousin, and she was dating this guy he was a little bit weird, right? He was like, I don't know, there was just something off about him. I can't really explain what it was, that was off about him. It was just, hold on a second. I have to turn this fucking fan off. My son leaves his bathroom light on every day. But there was just something that was like off about this kid. He was a really nice kid, but there was something like weird about him. So we're driving one day to like a restaurant. We're going out to dinner, and we're all in the same car. My aunt and uncle, I think, were driving, and me, him, and my cousin were sitting in the back seat. And he fucking says, we're like going past this like wooded area near the airport, and he's like, if you hid a body in there, nobody would ever find it, And I was like, what the fuck, like, like what would make this kid think that, but I don't know, and it's a weird thing to say, but it was weird. It kind of freaked me out a little bit, but then at the same time, I'm like, well, he's kind of right, because who would be over there? I don't know. People say weird shit, like, so, people might have just been reading into this a little too much, or it could have been something. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
That's crazy as shit, man. That's an outrageous statement, man. I'd write their names down.
The thing is, though, you have a fucking bunch of Karens in the chat that were like, call the cops, report this, like. You report what? You can't report people asking weird questions, dude. Like, that's not a crime. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the internet goes wrong all the time, where they're like, you need to report this guy. What are you going to report? You're going to call the cops up and be like, yeah, this guy called into a show on YouTube, right? And said that 10 Sigma Chi guys asked him, how he would murder somebody, how he would get away with it. Like, that's not a crime, dude. So, like, you're wasting the police's time. That's why the police have to go through enough bullshit tips that people call in. Like something like that is a waste of the police's time. Is it fucking weird? Yeah. Is it worth calling the police over? No.
Yeah, man. I like horror movies and all that kind of stuff, and I'll watch those kind of things. But like when someone like in person says some stuff like that, it's kind of like jarring. It's like, what? Why are you saying something like that?
Yeah, that's man. Who said that to you?
Like, literally, like, I before I even called, I counted on my hands, like how many of these guys I can remember that I worked with at this bar, and there's like 10 of them. I swear that question has always come up, and
that's really weird, though, because, like, what is the chances that 10 guys from the same fraternity work at the same bar? I don't know. It's kind of strange. Unless he means, like, through time. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe over the years he worked with 10 guys. Maybe he worked at the bar for, 5 years. And, maybe that would make more sense. 10 different guys work there over time. But, like, to work at the same bar at the same time as 10 guys from the same fraternity, like, that's kind of fucking strange. But like this guy could just be trolling too. You know what I'm saying? There's fucking weird people out in this world who love to get themselves involved in these situations. Like, look at that guy, John Mark Hart. Was that his name? That confessed to killing John Benet Ramsey and then ended up, he didn't do it. There's just fucking weird people out there, It
could just be nothing. Like maybe people say that, but it makes me wonder if that's a part of that thing, and like someone just took that question and that idea and like took it too far. Like, oh, I'm going to prove to these guys that I'm in the club or whatever.
So let me hear this right. You said you were working with 6 Sigma Chi guys, and they said
I want to read Beeferg's comment. Sorry. She says, I lived with 4 party girls in college. It was normal for one to end up crying at the end of the night, and no one would check Or don't you choose Santa? No one would react. Bro, you are seriously killing me, Ovi. I'm getting really annoyed with you right now. That's fucking I no one would check or react because it probably happens all the time. Everybody had that one girlfriend who would fucking cry every time they got drunk. I know I did. I know I did. I had a friend that stop it. Every time we got drunk, she would fucking end up all emotional. And I used to be like, dude, we gotta stop. This girl needs to stop drinking. Like, because like every fucking time we go somewhere and she ends up drunk, she ends up crying and getting all fucking emotional. So, I could see ignoring the crying myself, because if you have that one friend that always gets like that, you learn to kind of just ignore it after a while.
How could they get away with killing somebody?
Get out of there.
Yeah, more like 10. But they would say that to me. They would say, like,
You are fake news.
if you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with that?
And what are these guys' names?
Well, I'm not going to.
I mean, you're like, come on, drop 2 or 3 of them, first and last.
Get out of there.
First and last?
That's a broad statement. I mean, you're calling me with this information when you should be on the phone with the police.
Well, I'm in it.
No, you shouldn't. You should not be on the phone with the police just for somebody asking a question. That's ridiculous. Get down. You're still driving me nuts right now. Sorry.
Different state.
I don't care if you're in Mexico. If that's the case, and the people from the Sigma Chi told you that how can you get away with murder? I mean, I'd be on the phone telling them that.
Well, I guess what
in defense of the host, okay, they were under the impression that he was talking about guys from the Sigma Chi, from the Idaho Sigma Chi. So, in his defense, I guess that's why he was saying this, because he was like, bro, you should be on the phone with the cops because here it is, a murder happened in that town, that, and there's a theory going around that it had something to do with these fraternity guys, and here's this guy calling in. So I understand his thinking in calling the police at this point in time. But, after the guy says, no, it was in Utah, he's still like kind of encouraging to call the police. And that's where I disagree.
What I'm trying to say is maybe it's like an exercise of like, if you were going to make pasta for 100 people, how would you like prepare? How would you like execute that? Like, it's not like they're actually asking you because they want to do it. It's more like, how smart are you? How good are you? That's what I'm getting at, is that maybe they're saying, I'm going to present you with this question and see like how, capable you are like with problem solving and this and that. And maybe somebody at that fraternity took that question and took it too far.
So you're saying, so you were saying you were in Moscow.
No, I wasn't in Moscow. No, I'm in a different state.
So, but you're saying you're in a different state, but you just said Sigma Chi House people asked how they would get away with murder. So how would somebody ask you that if you're in a different state? Where did that come from?
I guess
the guy that's hosting this clearly doesn't know much about fraternities, because they're in all different states. It's not just like one fraternity at one college in one state. There'll be a fraternity, and then there'll be different chapters of the fraternity at different colleges. But he probably doesn't know that.
You went from 5 to 10, so I mean, honestly, it doesn't even say. It sounds inconsistent.
So you see how he's accusing him of saying 5 to 10, but he's been consistently saying 10 the whole time. This guy is the one who said 5.
No, I worked with at least 10 Sigma Chi members, but it was in a different state, not in Moscow, in a different state. I'm just saying maybe the culture of that fraternity, like they have questions that they ask, and maybe somebody took that question too literally and too seriously as a way to prove themselves.
And what state are you in?
I'm in Utah.
So, I mean, you can't give up the identity of anybody who...
Purple Rain, I just read your comment. You said, I definitely would have called 911 if I were Dylan. However, we don't know all the details, so it makes it hard. And that's the thing. We don't know all the details, and like maybe the cops have showed up at that house before, right? We've seen the body cam footage, or I mean, I never watched it, but I know that there's body cam footage because I personally just don't see how it's relevant to anything, so I never watched it. But maybe the girl was scared to call 911 because there's underage drinking in the house. I don't know what kind of drugs were going through there. I'm not accusing anybody, but it is a fucking party house, you know what I'm saying? And there's people in there who might have had things or been on things, and maybe she didn't, maybe she was questioning herself. Well, if I'm wrong, here it is now. I'm going to bring the cops to the house and get people in trouble. Like, who knows what was going through this girl's head? But it's definitely fucking weird. I mean, me personally, I'm so nosy that I wouldn't have been able to just go lock myself in the room. Like, I was thinking if it was me, I probably would have climbed out the fucking window, like walked around the other side of the house or called or just something. I don't know. I don't know if I would have called the police necessarily right away, but I definitely would have like investigated. Like, I wouldn't have been able to go to sleep that night not knowing what was going on. If I saw something that was, and it says in the police report she was paralyzed with fear or something to that extent, something that made me feel that way, I wouldn't be able to go to sleep without knowing what was going on. I'd have to investigate and see what was going on. So I'd be fucking calling every one of those people's phones, the other roommate in the house. Like, I'd be calling everybody. Like, what is this strange dude doing in the house, with a mask on? Like, I don't know. I just personally wouldn't have felt like I could have went to sleep or settled myself until I knew exactly what was going on. But that's me. Some people are not like that, which is weird. But this generation, and I don't mean to generalize people, but I notice it with the younger generation of kids, and maybe people looked at me and my generation like this at some point in time. But like, I feel like that generation that's coming up now, right, going through the high school, college, even into the early, late 20s, early 30s, that I guess it's, what is it, Gen Z, is that what they call it, or the millennials? I don't know what that generation's considered, but I noticed that a lot of them like just lack like concern, care, and like people skills. Sometimes like you'll go in the store and you'll deal with one of these kids behind the register, and they have no social skills. It's like, in fact, me and my husband were just shopping for Christmas a couple of months ago. We were talking to this guy behind the register, and we were like shocked because he was such a personable kid, and a lot of kids his age just don't talk the way this kid was talking. He was like telling us his future plans, what he's doing for college, his theories about, he was saying he was going to be like a child psychologist, and his theories about youth and like all this crazy shit. And we were like really impressed by him because we were like, we told him, we're like, you're impressive. Like, there's not a lot of kids your age that talk like you, that are like as personable and friendly and everything. So I don't know, maybe because these kids kind of lacked social skills growing up because they were the first generation of computer kids, really, who I remember like my little cousins there. I guess they would be considered millennials, they would come home from school and like instead of going out with their friends, they would go on AOL Instant Messenger and talk to each other. Like, instead of like calling on the phone. And like, to me, that was weird because I grew up in the generation where, you go home from school and you call your friend up, or you go outside, or, you go to your friend's house. Like, you don't go home from school and sit on a computer and talk to your friends through the computer. Like, that's weird. So I don't know. I kind of feel like a lot of these kids lack in-person social skills. I mean, I don't know if that plays into this, but it might,
Ask you that. You don't think that's important to the families that need justice? That these people
Well,
that,
no,
that
I
could be
mean,
there?
I worked with these people. This is probably 10 years ago. I'm not trying to say that I know the literal people. This is more of a, me kind of scrutinizing the culture of like, secret societies or whatever, like, fraternities, like this this club mentality, like, you know, our group and our thing. Which I don't have a problem with it necessarily, but it's a thing that's kind of been in the back of my mind.
All right, so I'm not going to play much more of this because it just keeps going on and they keep kind of repeating the same thing, but you guys get the point, right? This guy was definitely weird. You know, at the very least, this was a weird phone call. You know, who knows if it's him, but it was weird. It was a weird phone call. Look what we are doing. Yeah, you're right, Cindy. We are doing the same thing. It does, which is why. But the difference is, Cindy, we were raised without this. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to like having to talk to people in person the way we do, you know what I'm saying? Like we still have that skill where I feel like a lot of these kids like just lack it. Like they lack the person to person. Like they don't make eye contact with you when they talk. Like, you know, some of them just aren't friendly. But then again, it could be just like teenagers. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I started this whole thing, I said, you know, people could have said the same thing about us when we were teenagers. Like, I don't know. You know, I don't know what the older generation thought of us, but either way, I mean, it is odd. I'm not going to say it's not odd that she didn't call or, you know, try to investigate. But at the same time, we don't know what other steps she took to possibly investigate. The reason that was included in there, the only reason that part was included in that affidavit was just to show that somebody saw a stranger in the house and they had bushy eyebrows. You know, that was part of the way she described the person. And that, you know, when they found his license, the bushy eyebrows, they didn't even say whether, you know, she identified him or identified the eyebrows or, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's definitely more to that story. And I feel like when we find out what it is, it'll probably make sense to us more, hopefully, you know. If not, I mean, that is crazy. You know, you have to think to yourself, like, I try to put myself in the girl's shoes, but I'm thinking of a million different explanations as to why she just went back in her room and, you know, what happened after that. We don't know. So I don't want to sit there and join this, what do you call it? Mentality of, you know, mob mentality of like berating this girl because we really don't know what happened. And the other thing is, you know, people are blaming her like, oh, you could have saved somebody. We don't know that either. We don't know if she could have saved somebody's life. He could have made sure that those people were gone when he left, you know? So, sad, very sad. Yeah. I feel bad for her now, you know, because that information was put out there and like the rest of the story isn't going to be out there until a trial happens. So she's going to have to deal with this. And, you know, I'm sure her life and the other people's lives were affected enough by this whole situation. I mean, imagine being the only two surviving people in a house where, you know, everybody was murdered. I mean, I just can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine that. Always taught my kids to be aware of their surroundings. Something could have spooked him and that's why he left the house. But the way it makes it seem is that he just kind of casually walked out of the house. And somebody was when I was listening to the WFLA stream last night, that was one of the things that one of the other people were saying on there. One of the other guys was saying, like, this guy didn't, from what it seems like, right? This guy didn't run out of the house. He kind of casually walked out of there. And so maybe, you know, he also said that I'll take care of you. So maybe she thought the problem was resolved and just got weirded out by this guy. You know what I'm saying? Could have just got a bad vibe, but didn't think anything nefarious was going on upstairs. Because again, like, who's thinking in those terms, you know? I wouldn't be thinking that in college, like, oh, my friend's being murdered upstairs. Like, you know, so you got to look at it like that too. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what would make this girl, you know, not call. It's just weird. I'm sure he was exhausted. Could you imagine how much it takes to kill 4 people that were awake and aware? And not only that, right? But 4 people in 25 minutes, dude, because they think that it occurred between 4 o'clock and 4:25. So like, that's a lot, dude. And those people, I mean, they had to fight back. And she noted that the guy wasn't that strong. Like, how big was the guy, Ethan? Does anybody know how big that guy was? And also, Laura saying some fucking stupid shit. Because, of course, after somebody left a comment on my page this morning about Laura and how stupid she was, I go over there and I listen to like 10 minutes because I was all like fucking handle on her stream. And she's like, and then somebody clipped it too. I think it was Kool-Aid clipped it. I'll play it for you guys. We'll just listen to it together. Stupid shit that she says. Because, you know, you guys know it. I noticed it yesterday that they blinked out or redacted rather the second page of where they were talking about Ethan. But we don't know if the whole entire page was about Ethan or if it was about something else written in there. But yeah, this is what she had to say. So hold on a second. She's so stupid. Because of course, you know, but she doesn't deal with speculation. She says shit like this. It's really quick clip. Hold on. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Present. Ethan was said to be 6 foot, nearly 200 pounds. Wow. How did this guy? All right. So if you match them up, okay, they're saying that Koberger is about 180 pounds. You know, that guy, Ethan, I didn't want to assume, but he looks like a big dude, you know, like a strong guy. So, oh my God. Something, I don't know. This whole thing is so fucking weird, man. All right, let's take a look at this. Stupid ass.
She was scared. She was so scared that she stayed in a frozen state in her room. So she knew something wasn't wrong.
She knew something wasn't wrong. She knew something wasn't wrong. You mean was wrong, Laura?
She knew, I'm sorry, she knew that something was wrong.
Yeah.
So not call 911 is fucking weird. But I do want to say something back to Ethan for a second.
And yes, you guys are not seeing things. That's Tracy up on her panel with her. Unbelievable. Vegans don't kill humans. Yeah.
Only thing that because that was my first thought too, that it was something like they cut off his dick or something like that. But then I realized, wouldn't that be considered sexual in a court of law? I mean,
in a court of law. Why would your first thought be that they cut off somebody's dick, Laura? What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't know where she's getting this shit from. Where the fuck do you come up with this shit?
I mean, by the police, wouldn't that make it sexual if they did something to his winky?
Yeah. I don't know where the fuck she like even came up with that. They blanked out the second page of the affidavit that was right after the detective starts talking about, you know, while he's walking around the crime scene and he discovers Ethan's body. So somehow Laura got that they cut his penis off in that time. I don't know how the fuck she came to that conclusion, but I don't think that's why. I think it might have something more to do with like maybe his defensive wounds, or you know what I'm saying? There could have been like something that there's a million things that could be in there. I don't know why the fuck her brain goes to cutting penises off, but hey, you know, you know, I mean, all right, Laura, that's fucking weird, but all right. I don't know how she came to that. Oop. Oh shit. Hold on, guys. I don't know, guys. I don't know. So, yeah. Anyway, so I was thinking, you know, I'm thinking about this last night and I'm watching all these things and I'm like, I swear to God, it's almost like this guy wanted to be caught. Like, if you look at him in the videos, right, where they're walking him from court to like, and again, this is just me speculating because I'm trying to understand why this guy, that they said was so highly intelligent. Forget the fact that he was even studying this shit in school, because from what I understand, he wasn't directly studying like forensic. I don't know. I heard some commentary about what exactly he was studying last night, but still, right? Let's just say he's an intelligent guy. He was studying in this field somewhat, you know. I don't know exactly the details because I forgot what the guy was saying last night, but he made so many fucking mistakes that are like rookie. Well, he is a rookie, I guess, if you want to say that, right? But he made so many, to me, like really simple mistakes that makes it almost seem like, did this guy want to get caught? Because like some of these people do want this notoriety. What is going on with MGL's teeth over here, dude? What the fuck? That's a weird picture. Sorry. You know, like some of these people, they do want this notoriety, man. It's weird as it is, you know. His first mistake was bringing his car. I mean, that's just like, why would you do that? You know, then okay, he turns his phone off, right? But he doesn't turn it off enough to, like, he should have left his phone at home, you know, and not even brought his phone with him because he didn't turn it off for a long enough period of time to you know, show that he wasn't near the crime scene at all. Like, so, you know, then you have the stalking for months ahead of time, and he brought his phone with him. Like, I mean, that's just kind of like common knowledge now, is like phones play a huge role in true crime these days. You know, a lot of people are getting caught because of their phones. You know, they're getting caught in the area. So like, you know, that's like a huge thing these days. So you would think that would be one of the first things somebody would think of, you know, is not having this device on you that has fucking GPS. You know what I'm saying? That's constantly searching for signals at towers. Like, any of your activity is going to be recorded. You know, I mean, I don't know. That to me is like a rookie mistake, right? That's a really stupid mistake. The other mistake was this knife and leaving that there, which obviously could have been done by accident. And maybe that's why he went back the next day. Maybe he thought when he went back the next day, you know, possibly the bodies weren't discovered yet. And well, it really wasn't the next day. It was the same day. It was just later that morning. But, you know, maybe he thought possibly the bodies hadn't been discovered yet and he could somehow sneak into the house and get his thing and then leave, you know. But like there was just so many like stupid mistakes that this guy made. Then when you look at him, he almost looks like, I don't know, he's like weird, like proud. A lot of the times when you see them walking suspects out from like court to the van, or you know what I'm saying, they hang their heads down because they don't want to be seen. They don't want their faces to be seen on the camera. There's shame. This guy and a lot of other guys like him, right, is walking proudly, straight forward, staring, almost looking like he's playing this role, you know, like he's in his role that he's been dreaming of being in, you know, like, here I am, I'm the new Ted Bundy. Like, I don't know, it's just fucking weird. If you look at him when he's doing that perp walk back and forth, like to the car or wherever it is, coming out of the courtroom, like he's just staring straight ahead, almost proud. It's very strange. But then when you watched the court hearing yesterday, he's, you know, he's trying to be very polite to the judge and everything like that. Oh, big time Ted Bundy vibes. Big time. Big time. So it's like, it kind of makes me question, like, did this guy want to be known as the next, you know, killer like that? Like, did he want this? And maybe that's why he made so many stupid mistakes, because like, that's not out of the realm of possibilities, you know? Because there are people that do this and they want the notoriety. Take the BTK killer. You know, he would taunt the police, and he stood up in court and just matter of factly confessed all of his crimes. You know, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's very strange. This whole story is very strange, and I can't wait to hear, you know, the details of why this guy did this, because it's very odd. Yeah, he acts very nonchalant. I know, the poor dog. think he was obsessed with Ted Bundy, even going so far as to kill sorority girls. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. I think he had an obsession, and maybe he looked at them as some type of heroes in his mind, which is sick. But, again, we're dealing with a person who's clearly not right in the head, and maybe he wanted to be this guy. So he got his day in court and could try to see how smart he is, and how much he could manipulate and convince the jury of his innocence. He's fighting this shit. He's not pleading guilty. He's fighting this shit. If there's one thing I could respect Chris Watts for, which is hard, but I'm just saying, he at least pled guilty and spared, Shanann's family trial, because that was it. He just pled guilty and he spared everybody the heartache of a trial and having to come back for, parole hearings, if that was even a possibility. Like, you know what I'm saying? So this guy, no, he's going to fight it all the way. He's going to fight it. And that's why he wanted to be extradited, and he didn't fight the extradition, was because he wanted to get back to see what they had on him. Because at that point in time, he had no clue what information they have on him. He doesn't know. He doesn't know anything. I'm sure he does now, but at the time, right before they extradited him back to Idaho, he had no idea what kind of evidence the cops had on him. So now I'm sure he's aware now, and I don't know what his defense is, and it'll be really interesting to see the whole court case. Like, that's the part of this that I'm really interested in, is seeing what his defense is going to be, and, what his excuse is going to be for being there. Get it down. So, yeah, I think he gives us all the creeps. I think so too, Hummingbird. I think he wants the fame. Watts had a public trial with all creators. Yeah. But I mean, he didn't ask for that, He's smart enough to be extradited. Yeah. He wanted to get back here and see what they had, so he could start planning his defense. I can't wait personally for his interrogation to come out. That'll be really interesting, because they're still going. I assume they're still going to interrogate him, like they would with any suspect, unless he obviously asked to speak to an attorney. But I kind of get the sense with this guy that he thinks he's smart enough to out-talk the cops, and make some type of excuse, like somebody stole my car and my phone, and you know what I'm saying? Like, there's something there. There's something that this guy is going to try doing. I just have this feeling. Well, he's lawyered up as of now. He has a public defense, a public defender as his attorney. He will probably say he was friends or more than friends with one of the murdered girls, and that's why his phone pinged so many times there. Also, that the knife was a gift previously bought. Well, see, here's the thing, though. With him saying that he's friends, he's going to have to prove that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, in his phone, because you would assume, especially nowadays, right? If you're friends with somebody, dude, I'm going to kill you, Ovi. You're really getting on my nerves right now. Lay down already. Holy shit. Just knocked a whole glass of water over, and I have no paper towels. Fuck. Oh, my God. My husband left the paper towels in the car, I think. Son of a bitch. Oh, where's that rag? Hold on a second. I just got to clean a little mess up. I think that it was water. Come on, dude. You're getting on my nerves. Get out of here. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Why did I do this to myself again? It's like having a baby. All right, come on. Where's your bone, dude? It's like in everything right now. Anyway, totally forgot what I was saying. I worry he'll get off on some stupid technicality. I hope not. Nunya, he can't do that though. Once you're convicted because of the son of Sam law, you can't profit off your crime. So he won't be able to do that. Well, in all fairness, I don't know if they have that in Idaho, but the search warrant stuff from his apartment is sealed because possible danger to law enforcement and public. Really weird. Really? That's odd. Yeah, I don't know if is that a federal law, the Son of Sam law? Let me look that up. Son of Sam was a killer here in New York, and they made this law after his, I don't know if he wrote a book. Let's look it up. I don't know the exact story, but it's a law that was put into effect. I know here that you can't make profit off of a crime. Son of Sam, hold on, law. Son of Sam is David Berkowitz. Okay, so Son of Sam law, this is from Wikipedia, so just putting that out there, is an American English term for any law designed to keep criminals from profiting from the publicity of their crimes, for instance, by selling their stories to publishers. Such laws often authorize the state to seize money earned from deals such as book, movie, biographies, and paid interviews, and use it to compensate the criminal's victims. So even if they did, it'll go to the victims' families. So these laws have been criticized as violating the free speech guarantee of the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. The original namesake law from New York State was itself ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court of the United States, but New York and other states have since passed laws with similar goals that attempt to comply with the court's decision. In certain cases, Son of Sam law can be extended beyond the criminals themselves to include friends, neighbors, and family members of the lawbreaker who seek to profit by telling publishers and filmmakers of their relation to the criminal. In other cases, a person may not financially benefit from the sale of a story or any other mementos pertaining to the crime. See, I don't feel like it's infringing on your free speech as much as it's infringing on your right to to profit from your free speech. Because you can still tell your story, you just can't profit from it, you know? The term Son of Sam is derived from the first law of this type targeted at serial killer David Berkowitz, who used the name Son of Sam during his notorious murder spree in the mid-70s in New York. After his arrest in August 1977, Berkowitz's intense presence in the media led to widespread speculation that he might sell his story to a writer or filmmaker. Although Berkowitz denied wanting any kind of deal, the New York State legislature swiftly passed preemptive legal statutes anyway, the first legal restriction of its kind in the U.S. The original New York law was invoked in New York 11 times between 1977 and 1990, including once against Mark David Chapman, the murderer of musician John Lennon. Ugh. Critics argued that the law infringed on freedom of speech and therefore violated the First Amendment, and that Son of Sam laws take away the financial incentive for many criminals to tell their stories, some of which, such as the Watergate scandal, were of vital interest to the general public. Okay. In 1987, lawyers for publishing company Simon & Schuster sued the New York authorities to prevent enforcement of the Son of Sam law with respect to a book they were about to publish called Wise Guy, which, if you don't know, Wise Guy is the book that Goodfellas was based off of, and I read it, and it's an amazing book. Just in case anybody's looking for a good book to read, that would be the one right there. It's a very good book. Written by Nicholas Pileggi. The book was about ex-mobster Henry Hill and was used as the basis for the film Goodfellas. The case reached the U.S. Supreme Court in 1991 in an 8-0 ruling on Simon & Schuster versus Crime Victims Board. The court ruled the law unconstitutional. The majority opinion was that the law was over-inclusive and would have prevented the publication of works such as the autobiography of Malcolm X, Thoreau's Civil Disobedience, and the Confessions of St. Augustine. Similarly, I can never say this word, the state of California's Son of Sam law was struck down in 2002 after being used against Barry Keenan, one of the men who kidnapped Frank Sinatra Jr. in 1963. After numerous revisions, New York adopted a new Son of Sam law in 2001. This law requires that victims of crimes be notified whenever a person convicted of a crime receives $10,000 or more from virtually any source. The law then attaches to a springing statute of limitations, giving victims an extended period of time to sue the perpetrator of the crime in civil court for their crimes. This law also authorizes a state agency, the Crime Victims Board, to act on the victim's behalf in some limited circumstances. Thus far, the current New York law has survived court scrutiny. Now, I'm just going to skip down to go and see like where this is even. Oh, wow, look at that. They don't even have it written. So interestingly enough, I have a family member whose dad was murdered by Sammy the Bull Gravano. Okay. So whenever Sammy the Bull Gravano, fucking dog, whenever Sammy the Bull Gravano does anything where he's trying to profit, my family members there are trying to stop him from profiting. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Well, yeah, she's my family member. Her mom's, it's mostly the daughter of the guy who was murdered, which it's crazy that somebody, my dad told me that when I was a kid, not a kid, I was probably like a teenager. My dad told me that one of his cousins, was murdered by Sammy the Bull Gravano. And I was like, no way. Cause I had just read his book Underboss. And, I was like, holy shit. And, my dad, sometimes I didn't know if I could trust his stories, but, after he passed away, at the time I believed him, cause why would he make that up? But I ended up actually meeting the person. So, and the story is very true. I have done research on it. So anyway, but yeah, so let me see if there's any more information. I just want to see if there's, what are Son of Sam laws? Some of the problems. Hold on a second. I mean, it is kind of fucked up. Son of Sam law. Let's see if there's one in Idaho though, which is where he would most likely. Federal and state. All right. Son of Sam statutes, federal and state summary. That's what I wanted to find. So states with active Son of Sam statutes that have not been replaced or struck down by a court. Okay. So here we go. We got a whole list of all the states, and I do not see Idaho. And oh yeah, it is. So we got Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon. How the fuck do you say that? I say Oregon Trail. But I heard other people say Oregon, so I don't know which one pronunciation is right. Here in New York, we say things a little weird sometimes. South Dakota, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. All right. So then you got states that repealed Son of Sam law statutes and then replaced them with active statutes, which I don't really know what that means. California, Illinois, Maryland, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. One state that has never enacted the Son of Sam statutes, and that's New Hampshire. Wow. 4 states that repealed Son of Sam statutes without replacing them: Louisiana, Massachusetts, Missouri, and South Carolina. So there you go. So most states actually have the original law in effect, so you can't profit. So I wonder if that means, I don't know about the federal level. Well, no, Purple Raid. I do say it like that because that's how everybody here says it. Just like everybody here says Illinois. Nobody here says Illinois. Like most people say Illinois. I say Illinois because I had a professor in college who was from Illinois, and he would like flip out from the whole class if anybody said Illinois, and he was like, I don't know what you New Yorkers, the S is silent, but people here always say Illinois. Like that's how you say it. So here at least. So Oregon, That's how we would say it. I heard people say Oregon. I don't know if that, that sounds weird to me. Oregon. We say Oregon here. Like when we were kids, we used to play that game Oregon Trail. That's how you say it here. Oregon sounds weird. And that's not how it's spelled anyway. Just like what for example, right? I always called it where the Amish people live in Pennsylvania. I always called it Lancaster, right? Lancaster. When you go to Pennsylvania, they say Lancaster. Oh, they fucking say it weird. I can't even say it how they say it. That's as close as I could get. We call it Lancaster, right? They call it Lancaster. But we say Lancaster. Spokane. Yeah, see? Spokane. That's how I would say it. I wouldn't say Spokane. Just like with this Moscow thing, right? I even heard Duty Ron last night. He's like, Moscow. Because we're used to saying Moscow, But apparently they pronounce it Moscow there. So that's how, it's supposed to be said. I'm from Detroit, but you don't say Detroit. Right. See, we say Detroit. I don't know how. Detroit, I've never heard somebody say that. There's a Miami County nearish, but it's Miami. What? Miami. Arkansas. Just like people say things weird. Alicia says rum instead of room. They say roof instead of roof in places. Like it's just a matter of, I guess, where people in Oregon pronounce it Oregon. Yeah, that's weird. Oh. It's being reported that Brian wore surgical gloves and put his trash in his neighbor's bin. Not too bright. Yeah, that's not too bright. That's what I'm saying. He made so many fucking stupid mistakes, this guy. So many stupid mistakes. I mean, crick instead of creek. I'll never understand that one. That one makes no sense to me. Ovi! Oh my God, you fucking kill this dog, Ted. Could you stop digging my couch, please? Stop. I don't know what you're digging for, but there's nothing in the couch, okay? You're going to find anything in there. Oh, what's got into this fucking dog today? Ay. I mean, yeah, he just made so many rookie mistakes that it really makes you question, did this guy want to get caught? Like, what was he thinking? What was he doing? I definitely don't think, especially, just the fact that he drove by the house 4 times before actually parking and going into the house just goes to show that it was premeditated. Like why would you be casing the joint out, prior to going in there? And why were you even at the house to begin with? If we come to find out that there was no contact with any of the people in that house, I mean, that's scary. I'm saying like regular contact, not just contact from stop digging my couch. Stop it. Not contact, I feel, and I don't know, this is just a feeling I have. So, speculation here, but I feel that he had run into one of those 2 girls. Okay. I think it's Maddie or what's the other one? Oh my God. I just totally Kaylee, right? I think that he had some type of interaction where that was, I don't know, maybe it was at a party or something. He had some type of interaction with one of those 2 girls where maybe he hit on them, okay, and they rejected him, or maybe they didn't necessarily reject him right then and there. Maybe they had conversation with him and then rejected him later on. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm feeling. I don't know if that's the case. And maybe he just became obsessed with one of those girls and started stalking them. And I would have to assume it was the girl whose room that they were in. Because that's the other thing. Holy shit, I just thought about that. How would he know where to go in the house? You know what I'm saying? He would. How would he know? Even if he was stalking the house, let's just say for like a month, driving over there and sitting outside in his car. How would he know what room is whose? Because if you look at that house, it's not her. I believe the girls' rooms. Well, maybe you could see from that street in the back, right? There's a street that was behind. Dude, stop digging my couch, man. Holy shit. How does the FBI get your garbage and you don't notice? I don't know, because I have a Ring camera. So if anybody was going through my garbage, I would know. That's a good question. I think he was in the house before. Let me, I'm going to open up. Hold on a second. Gray Hughes, dude, hold on a second. I'm going to fucking count. Stop it. You're going to rip it. Get off the couch. Walk. Let's go. Walk. Bye-bye. You're going to rip my couch and I'm going to kill you. Get off. Walk. Walk. Come on. Let's go. Dude, what are you doing, man? Oh, my God. He knocked the cushion off the couch and he's like digging at the bottom of the couch. I'm going to fucking kill him. All right. Let's see. Gray Hughes. Because I know Gray made like a 3D kind of rendering of the house. And I want to see what that looks like. I don't know where her room was, though. I forget. Hold on a second. Oh, wait. All right, here we go. Killer's perspective. Let me just share this with you guys. Oh shit, hold on a second. How come it's not showing up in here? Oh, whoops, I forgot to pull out. Funky Gray Hughes music. It's like if you're not watching it, it kind of sounds like a 1970s porno. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, Gray Hughes made a rendering of the house.
Hello, this is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Make sure to hit that like button, share.
Dude, I don't know how he does this shit, but it's fucking amazing. I'm sorry. This shit's so time consuming. Like, it has to be. And he really does. Dude, get off my couch. Oh my God, dude. Get off. Come here. Now I have to physically pull you off the couch. Let's go. Off. Get off. Thank you. What the hell you're digging for? I don't know what he's doing. This is a Doberman thing. They get very obsessed with something. Snoopy used to do the same thing. They get like obsessed with like a spot. Is there something under the couch that he thinks he's digging for? I don't know what is going on. Hold on. There's nothing. Oh, what is this? Yeah, you took my little Christmas ornament, huh? What's that doing under the couch? Hold on a second. He took my leg lamp from Christmas Story. Fuck. Hold on. I cannot wait to get this fucking Christmas tree. Yeah, every year of my life, I'm like one of those people that I want to keep my Christmas tree up forever. This year, I can't wait to get it down. I'm like so over it. Is this what you're looking for? Here you go. Get off my couch. I have to put something on it so he can't go on it because he's really driving me nuts. My couches are shot. They're done. All right. Sorry.
And subscribe. I am continuing to work on the 3D model of the house at 1122 King Road, which is the location that 4 college students were brutally murdered.
Oh, wait a second. Is this the one that
November
he didn't finish?
13th, 2022, sometime between 3 and 4 a.m. Ethan Chapin, who was 20 years old, Zena Kernodle, who was also 20, Madison Mogan, 21, and Kaylee Gonsalves, also 21, were apparently sleeping in the house and were attacked, according to the coroner. Zena and Ethan are presumed to have gotten home at around 1:45 a.m. and Kaylee and Madison arrived home at...
Sorry, Gray. I just want to see the... All right, here we go. I want to see this part. This is
on here. All right, I'm going to remove the 3rd floor completely at this point, and the ceiling of the 2nd floor kitchen area so that you can see how the person may have came through the house and moved around, okay? So you'll be able to see it. There's these little bounding boxes on the character, but you should still be able to watch it. All right, so here we go. Let me play it. So here comes the killer. I just have a generic character. He comes through the kitchen and then up the stairs.
Yeah, so like, dude, this isn't like this house. The layout of this house isn't like this is the older one. Did he change anything from this one to the newer one? Of course, those girls put so much on suit. Oh, that's true, Ems. I didn't even think about that. You're right. They did put it, but this is a weird layout of the house. I mean, I haven't looked at their social media, so I don't know, but this house is a very odd layout, you know, with the rooms, the way the rooms are scattered around the house. So he must have known it was her room. I think that if her room was in the back of the house, right, I think her room was probably very easy to see. If you sat up on that hill and looked in the window from that street up there that was behind the house. I know, I love Gray's visuals too. That's why he's so good at this.
And then after going up the stairs, we can put the floor on up there. And now you notice now, once we made it up the stairs, I put the floor on the third floor, goes into Madison and Kaylee's room. That's and kills both of them. Then goes down the stairs. And now you'll be able to see him come down the stairs and then through to floor 2A, which goes over to Zena and Ethan's room. So this killer seemed to know exactly where they were going in this house.
Like, I wonder if there was a point where he ran into the four of them somewhere. Like, did they? I don't know much about the victims, because like in the very beginning, I wasn't really following too closely. But like, did they hang out together? Because I know a lot of the times, like in these college houses, you know, maybe like two people get like close and they'll go out. I know the two girls were friends, right, from home, but this couple, I don't really know much about the couple that was murdered. So, and how they tie into everything. So unless they heard something and they came upstairs, I don't know. And he didn't mean to, you know, do what he did with them, because does it say exactly where I forget in the affidavit if it says where his body was found, where their bodies were found. I forget where it said it was. Were they in the bedroom? And even if they were in the bedroom, like the two girls were in the bed, that doesn't mean that that's where they were killed. That he could have moved them. So there's a lot of information that we don't know.
It goes back to floor 2B, which is a little drop down right there, and then exits through the kitchen out the sliding glass door. Now,
so I thought that the other two roommates were on the first floor of this house, and that's where I'm confused how the girls saw him.
I attached a light and a camera to the head of that character there, and that's the video that you'll be seeing here in a little bit. Something to notice also is that this bedroom of Zena and Ethan is absolutely directly above one of the surviving roommates, which is right here. This is the front door. Those are those steps that you just saw that go up to.
What is this space right here? That's a weird, just open space.
To the second floor. And then another roommate lives in this room right here. Okay, now to get to that, once you enter this door, you take a left around that hallway there.
All right, so I remember reading this yesterday. Oh, the bathroom. He was found in the bathroom. I need to go back and look at this now because I'm getting confused. Hold on a second. Yes, didn't the couple come upstairs? I don't know. I gotta go back and look at it, but all right, hold on. Ethan was found near Maddie according to the affidavit. Yeah, but where in the house is what I'm wondering. Remember, they blinked out, and the officer gave a pretty good rendition of how like he went through the house, and I believe he said they were on the second floor from what I remember. Zena's DoorDash was in the kitchen with her drink half gone. She was on TikTok at 4:12 a.m. Dog barks at 4:17 a.m. and that's when the neighbor cam picked up the audio. She was in the kitchen with the DoorDash was in the kitchen with her drink half gone. I don't remember hearing about a drink, but
there. And that leads you to another bedroom over there. This roommate here surely heard some noises directly above them. I mean, the footprint of this room and the one below are almost identical. And I would have a hard time believing that if there was a fight for someone's life, it sounds like Zena tried to defend herself. There would have had to been yelling.
Maybe Gray Hughes' layout is wrong because I'm pretty sure yesterday, I'm going to go to see if there's a second video on this. Because I remember yesterday, oh, here, let me see what's this. Yesterday, I remember reading in the affidavit that it said her second floor room, and I was confused. I remember reading that when he walked past to go out the back door, her room was on the second floor. And I had always been under the impression that her room was on the first floor, I guess just based on Gray's videos. Reread. Hold on a second. There was a picture taken through the window of the house. What do you mean? Hold on. Oh, of the drink, you mean? He was in the room. Yeah. All right. Ethan was found near Maddie according to the affidavit. Oh, yeah. I have to look at it again because I don't remember. I think Zena and Ethan were on the first floor. No, I'm pretty sure they said the second floor. Let me see what this video is. I'm just gonna fast forward through the beginning here. Oh, this is so creepy. When did Gray make this video? Hold on, I just want to look. 7 days ago. This is before we knew who it was. Oh. But see, now we don't know if this is right. Is it? I don't know. Oh, I think it was right because didn't they report that his body was found in the hallway or something? The girl walked upstairs and saw his body in the hallway or something. I'm just confused as to which floor we're on. Like he's going upstairs now. But is this the second floor or the third floor? Oh, maybe that was the two girls? Oh, the dog. All right, so this has to be the third floor, no? Okay, so we're on the third floor. There's the dog. And he's going back down to the second floor. Is there another bedroom on the second floor? That's what we need to know. Because this whole time we were told that these two other roommates were on the first floor. Let me go back and look at this thing now. Hold on a second. I need to go back. I'm confused too. I'm going to go look at the affidavit and see what it says. Because I'm confused about where they were found exactly. Let's refresh our memories here. I'm just going to go to my channel because I have the link in my community page. This whole thing is just so sad, dude. Arrest affidavit. All right, let me click on this. I'll take a look back at this and see what exactly happened here and where they were found. All right. Should I do the Laura? While I'm looking for something. All right. So, oh, I already had it open. Jeez. All right. Well, here we go. Let me get back to this. All right. So, I'm just gonna. I guess I'll read the first like 2 pages because I'm pretty sure that's where it was. I'm not gonna read everything, but we'll start from this point. This is just explaining who everybody is. This first paragraph. So we have on November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, hereafter King Road residence, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Okay, so here's his walkthrough. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Okay, I wish we had like a visual to like guide us through this. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. Okay. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Zena's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Zena Knodel, hereafter Knodel. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Room. Okay, so she was on the west. Let me write this down. Hold on a second. Let me get a pen and I'm going to write this down so then we could go back to Gray Hughes's video and try to figure this out. The only problem is I don't know which way the house was facing. Hold on a second. I need a blank piece of paper. Wait a second. Oh my God, every piece of paper has like double-sided printing. Okay, so Zena's house, Zena is on the west side, on the second floor. Okay, all right, right? Which I later learned through Zena's driver's license and other personal belongings. All right, I read that already. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Knodel's laying on the floor. Knodel was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also, oh my God, it scared the shit out of me. What is going on? My cousin's calling me again. I hope nothing happened. She'll text me. Where's my phone? All right. Also in the room was a male later identified as Ethan Chapin, hereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined autopsy report provided by Spokane, right? So he was in the room with her. So I'm just going to put that down. Hold on. Okay. And then this whole entire second page is redacted. And I'm wondering if it has to do with the, because it leaves off saying about the, what do you call it? The autopsy report. So maybe that's why that's redacted. Maybe that shows the autopsy report on him. Who knows? So it says county medical examiner dated December 15th, whatever. Sharp force injuries, it's saying. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom was on the west side of the bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee I can't say that last name, but we'll call her just Kaylee. Goncalves. It's like so hard to read that name. So, okay, so she was on the west room too, which means she was in the room right above them, right? Floor. Okay, so that was Kaylee and Madison. Okay. I later learned from review of Officer Nunes' body camera there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Kaylee and her ex-boyfriend, Jack. I found out from my interview with Jack on November 13th that he and her shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogan's, hereafter Mogan, bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. Okay. But she wasn't in the room, so we're not going to worry about that room. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. Both Kaylee and Mogan were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and has a K-bar USMC. All right, I'm going to skip this whole part because we're just looking for the rooms right now. Interviews. I'm going to try to get back down to the point where they talk about the other girl. Okay, here we go. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Rose residence were home by 2 a.m. and asleep or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Okay, so she did receive it. I don't know why. When I thought I read this, I thought it meant like she ordered it. So I was wondering when the guy came to like deliver it, but he must have delivered it at 4 a.m. Okay, so that makes sense. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. Oh, all right. So she never was on the first floor. Southeast side, southeast, second floor. Okay, so that makes sense. So that area that we were just looking at in Gray Hughes's thing where the stairs came down, that had to be her room there. Maybe there was like a wall or something, you know, like you come down the stairs and then turn and there's a hallway and then it goes into the room. That would make more sense. Or maybe the room was in the back of the house. I'm not sure which way the house is situated as far as north, south, east, and west goes. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know which way it is. It doesn't really make much sense. All right. So now I just emailed you a good pic of inside. Oh, okay. All right. We'll take a look at that. So that makes sense. That makes sense then that she was on the second floor. So let's just go to her statement about that. Let's read that whole part again, since that's like one of the biggest parts to really shock everybody. Okay, so she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. She stated she was awoken approximately 4 a.m., but what she stated sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. Okay, so now we know that her house was on the southeast side, which would mean that their bedrooms are on the complete opposite sides of the house. So she's on the southeast side. Oddly enough, it doesn't specify whether the other rooms were on the northeast northwest, but it says the west side of the house. So obviously it's going to be on the opposite side of the house. So she's just hearing probably footsteps that are kind of distant. And she probably thought that the dog, she was, messing around with the dog. Okay. So that's crazy. Okay. Located a short time since she was playing with the dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Kaylee say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could have also been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. So when she said there's someone here, that's weird. Wait a second. I'm really confused by this. There's someone here. Huh. So she heard her say there's someone here, but she could have been talking about like a delivery driver, because she just said that they ordered. You know what I'm saying? She said that they ordered DoorDash. So maybe that's what she thought she was talking about. I don't know. This is weird. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. Oh, God, that's so sad. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." So she doesn't know if that's the exact statement she heard, because "It's okay, I'm going to help you." This motherfucker said that. That's sick. At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, and we need to look at what house that is. Let me write that down. I want to see where that camera was pointed from. 1112 King Road. All right. Immediately to the northwest of King Road, 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. Okay. So like she also had to hear the dog barking too then. If she heard all this other noise going on, then the dog barking had to be part of that noise. DM stated she opened her door for a third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. And he quotes that. He puts that in quotes. So that has to be her words, you know? The male walked towards the backsliding door. DM locked herself in the room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. God, that's so fucking scary, dude. Imagine just, oh my God, being this girl. Fucking crazy, dude. Crazy. I text the link Remy put in Discord. All right, hold on a second. What's the link to? I can't see you guys. When you guys are talking to me, like if I'm reading this, I can't see you. So I don't know what's going on in the chat. Hold on a second. You need to be optional. It's not that suspicious. Yeah, exactly. That someone's wearing a mask. Who is on TikTok? They just said Kernodle. Hold on, I'm trying to go. I'm going to drop a link in Discord for my room labeled in a vid like Grace. Okay. All right. I'll have to take a look at that in a second. Just give me a second. Let me finish. I will not entertain any victim blaming or bashing. No, nobody's bashing or should be in here. We're just trying to figure out what happened. Okay. The combination of DM's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, and video of a suspect video. That's weird. That's a weird written weird. Described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a Latin shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the forensic team by first using blood tests, whatever. I'm going to skip through this. The detective's shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type shoe sole just outside the door of DM's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvas, was conducted by the. All right, so I'm not going to read the rest of this. Let me just go. We read through her statement. Now let's go look at the. Let me grab my phone real quick and look through that and see if we could see get a better visual of this. And I'm going to leave this open so that if we need to refer back to it, we can. Hold on a second. I hope my cousin's right. She didn't text me, so she never calls me twice in a row like that. I'm getting concerned. All right, let me just press this so that I could get it from my history. All right. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I wonder if she just sat in her room just fucking paralyzed with fear. I mean, that's a possibility too, you know, and didn't know when it was safe to come out or, I mean, because she's describing there's a bunch of noise in the house, right? Obviously, the dog's moving. She thinks that the girl's playing with the dog. She's hearing people talking. I don't know if she heard the scream, and maybe she was just terrified to fucking come out of the room, not knowing if the guy actually left, because it doesn't say in here that she actually saw the guy leave. And even if she did see him leave, right, maybe she thought he was going to come back and she was just hiding. I mean, we don't know. And that's why, you know, it's just not fair to blame this girl, because we really just don't know. We don't know exactly what was going on. So fuck, man. I feel bad for the girl because, like, they did, and it says in here there's some type of forensic, you know, analysis of her phone. So if there was any type of communication with this guy, I think they would have found that. You know what I'm saying? So hold on a second. You know, maybe she didn't feel like it was safe to come out of her room. I don't know. I just like I really wish they wouldn't have put that part of the story out there without giving more detail because this girl's getting, really criticized, in the last 24 hours. So hold on a second. What the fuck am I doing? I'm sorry. I have so many windows open right now. I'm just trying to find. Let me get to my. It's really hard doing this on such a small laptop. So I used to stream upstairs from my Mac, my desktop, and at least had a little more room to look up some stuff. All right, so let me go in my history. I'm going to grab this person's video. All right, and we'll share that. Let me just take down this real quick. All right. Right, exactly, Hummingbird. She doesn't know if there was more people in the house or, dude, I just think nobody thinks that, oh, somebody's being killed up there. Maybe she thought he was a burglar, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or somebody's friend. Like, I don't know. We don't know the situation in that house and how things were on a day-to-day basis. They left the door unlocked. People were in and out of the house all the time. Hold on, I'm sorry. I can't even find the window. It looks to me like they're using Gray Hughes' thing almost, right? Or maybe not. This music's loud. Sorry, I'm just lowering this. We don't need it. Yeah, this is Gray Hughes' layout. I don't know why it's so blurry though. Is this actually like labeled where? All right, there's the bathroom. Nice house, but that's. Yeah, this is definitely Gray Hughes' thing, I think. What is this? Oh. Okay, so that's the one bedroom. Confirmed to be Zena Knurl's bedroom. There's her bedroom. I need to see like the above head though. This is like confusing because they're just walking through the house and it's not really helping me visualize where everything is because I don't know where we are in the house. You know what I'm saying? There was a hangout area, I guess. There's the back door. Oh, so this must be. See, did he just come out of this room? I'm so confused. Is this. Whose room is this? I'm confused. Oh, that's the survivor's bedroom. Okay. All right. So let me go back there. Hold on a second. All right. So look, that room. Let me rewind maybe. All right. Here's the staircase that he would have came down. And her bedroom door is right there. So this gives us a better visual of her looking out the door. Okay. How would she have seen his eyebrows though? Like, I'm just like, let's just say she cracked the door open just a little less than it appears here. Right. And he comes walking down the stairs. She wouldn't have been able to see up this. Oh, whoops. Sorry. You guys can't see my mouse. She wouldn't have been able to see up this way. Right? If the door is closed, well, that is if the door opens this way, but it would make sense that it does open that way just because you wouldn't put it this way and have the door open into the room. Typically, the door is going to open against a wall or something, right? So if she has the door closed, and let's just say where my mouse thing is right there, just cracked open. If he's coming down the stairs, she's not going to see his face, really. She's going to see his back unless he turned around at some point and looked back at the stairs. How would she see his face coming down the stairs like this? I mean, she would maybe see a side view of his face coming down, but the footprint was found in front of her door. And now it makes sense because if he came downstairs, he obviously didn't, for whatever reason. Oh my God. She was right there, this girl. I thought this whole time she was on the first floor, and I thought maybe they had mistakenly written second floor in the report, but no, she was like right there. So how, I don't know, this is really weird. The whole thing is weird. How she didn't hear or see, I don't know. Here's the other thing we don't know, right? We don't know what other type of noise was on in the house. We don't know if people had TVs in their rooms, phones, AirPods in. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what other kind of noise was going on in the house. I mean, she did hear things, right? But maybe she was just fucking terrified. I don't know. This is fucking weird, man. And this is why I don't chat in here. What's going on, Band-Aid? I don't understand what's the problem. I am not salty. Did you not get the memo that I apologized to MM? Yeah, she did apologize. What's going on in the chat? Hold on a second. She didn't know where you were going with that statement. She just knew none of us would do that. Hold on a second. Salty. I'm just trying to understand what the hell's going on here. Sorry. I don't know. Everything's fine. She apologized after I said to cut it out. Okay. I just told you. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Sorry. What's going on in the chat? I told you why she said that. Read my comment. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I'm sure you guys will let me know after. All right. Anyway, yeah. So she questions doesn't equal accusations. I'm sorry. Okay. It's, I'm not the only person here in anywhere that's following this case that's just questioning. Do I think that she had anything to do with the murders? No, I don't. I think if she did, she would be in jail. I'm just questioning, she heard all this stuff and, it's just like, we're trying to question, like, what the hell was going on here? Who's starting stuff? We're just trying to understand. CK, right? I get paranoid. Oh my God. See, I just heard noises. I freak the fuck out. I think that happens to all of us. You follow these things and you get like paranoid about what's going on. Let me check my email too, because somebody said that they sent me something in emails. So I want to check that out. It's very scary, dude. All right, so we know where her bedroom was now, at least. We're just trying to visualize this whole thing because it's very hard to visualize it when you're just reading an affidavit and you don't have a picture in your head of exactly how the house is laid out, because we've never been in the house. So we're just trying to get an idea of exactly how everything went, in the house, where everybody was situated. I mean, again, though, I just go back to like, if I were, I don't know, she probably didn't think that anybody was being harmed. Maybe she thought the girls brought a guy home from the bar and they got into a little fight, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like a big deal. And maybe the guy just spooked her out, but not enough to think that somebody's being murdered, Okay. Oh, here we go. This is a layout of the rooms, all the rooms. I don't know if we need this necessarily now that we figured this out through this video, but thank you for sending this to me, Sweet Pea. I appreciate it. All right. So yeah, we're just trying to figure out what's going on here. what was going on in this. Yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions that are out there still. He might not have even noticed the door was there when he ran by her room. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm assuming, even though this guy might have had this whole entire thing planned out in his head, because of course people are always going to question the survivors in a situation like this. I think it's just natural. It's like he might have planned this whole thing out in his head, and maybe he planned to, do something to the other people in the house, and his plan changed because you're going in and surprise attacking people. You just don't know how things are going to turn out. So maybe he got spooked himself and ran out. I don't know. Who knows? There's so many different scenarios that could have played out here. And I personally feel bad for this girl. Can't even imagine what she's feeling. Maybe she was hiding in the closet or something. She was afraid to come out. All right, now my husband's calling. What is going on right now? Hold on, guys. I'm just gonna mute for a second because, well, he's probably on lunch break. I just want to make sure nothing happened with my cousin. She never calls me twice in a row like that. I just want to make sure. Now my husband's calling me, so give me All right. Sorry about that, guys. Everybody's still in here, hanging in here. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. My cousin was calling me and I'm getting nervous because I just got nervous because she usually doesn't typically call me like that, like twice in a row, or she didn't leave a message or text me. And, of course, my brain starts going to like the worst places possible. And then my husband called like right after. So I was like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? And he said he talked to her. She's at the store right now and she's buying my son a hat I guess, for his birthday. And she was getting it like customized and she just wanted to ask questions. But I was like, my brain always goes to like the fucking worst case scenario. So that's why I was like, okay, at least they feel better now. I know that everything's okay. But all right, so sorry about that. And then my husband was chewing my ear off. I think cursive is such a beautiful writing style. Yeah, it is beautiful. Anyway, all right. So is everything okay in the chat here? Are we still going on? So anyway, all right, I'm gonna take this off the screen. We were just trying to get a visual here. It's just, I personally just feel like, let's wait and see what happens and what else comes out, and let's not attack people. These people are going through enough. These people are going through enough, in life right now and having to deal with enough. So I don't want to join the hate campaign against this girl. I was just trying to get a visual in my head of how this was all working out because it really wasn't making too much sense. Wait a second. I thought I saw my mailman. How did I not? What time is it? It's 12 o'clock. How did I not get mail? Fucking mailman. So anyway, okay. Everybody's good. Everybody's fine. That's why I'm asking you to respectfully drop it. I believe it is a misunderstanding. Yeah. Let's just move on. Not fight, and everything will be okay. Too much other bullshit. Yeah, I don't think she should be blamed. First of all, she didn't do, anything. She's not the person we should all be mad at right now, honestly. The person everybody should be angry with is the person who's sitting in jail right now in handcuffs, dealing with all this. And should something come out down the road that she was involved, then it is what it is. The same way that I feel like people wanted to blame Nicole Kessinger, during the Chris Watts case. They were so angry with this girl. And it's like, I mean, yeah, she was wrong in having an affair. And some of the other things she did definitely didn't, made her behavior look shady. But I trust that the police, if there was anything, going on there and she played any role in this, they would have, arrested her. So, I mean, we just have to wait, be patient and wait and see what happens here. I won't lie, I blamed her a bit. I think we all did at the, first hearing it, because it's like, what? I can't blame her for the murders, but could you blame her for maybe not calling police? Sure. Is that fair? It is, given the circumstances that she wasn't bothered to call the police. I mean, but you have to look at the whole situation. We don't really know what exactly was going through her head, what was going on with the other girls. Maybe there was some tension in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different scenarios that could be going on. Maybe she wasn't friendly with those girls and she was just like, whatever, I'm not going to get involved. Like, it could have been a situation like that. Who knows? Oh, you blamed Nicole Kessinger. I think a lot of people did. I didn't personally in the beginning because I felt, yeah, she was wrong in having an affair with a married man, but I don't know. I don't feel it's fair to blame her for, what he did. But, people just have a tendency to do that in these situations because there's so many emotions involved in it. There's so many emotions involved in these cases. Laura says, why did he leave her alive? Well, maybe she saw him and he didn't see her. Right. Or maybe he did and left her alive and got off on the thought of her finding the bodies. Maybe Dylan was the target. Yeah, maybe. It could be, right? That's what I'm saying. We don't know. And we're not going to know for a long time. So, I mean, you know, what does this say? 100% believe she's not a cold-hearted roommate. I'm pretty sure there's a more rational explanation that makes perfect sense. We just have to wait. Yeah. I can't believe that she was cold-hearted, but I just think, right? Nobody in their right mind is thinking, hey, there's some guy up there murdering everybody, you know, especially after you hear the dog barking. I mean, all right, the crying, you know, and I personally feel you're gonna talk yourself out of, even if you think something like that, right? You're gonna talk yourself out of it rationally because you're in, you know, you're away at college, you know, this is a fun time, it's a fun house, you know, that you're living in, and everybody's usually having a good time. So you're not thinking in those types of terms. You're going to probably find a way to talk yourself out of thinking like that. I mean, so, you know, that's not that, maybe for people like us, right, who follow true crime, we're going to think like that because we're into this kind of stuff. But you got to think there's people out there that don't follow this stuff and don't. I'm paranoid because I follow this shit, right? So I make sure my doors are locked at night. I make sure when I go out to the store, I lock my door, you know, so that somebody can't sneak in my house while I'm not here, you know, because you don't know who the fuck is watching you. I have this creepy kid that lives around the block. That this kid, I told you guys the other day about like bad vibes from people. This kid gives me the fucking worst vibes like ever I've probably ever felt in my entire fucking life. And I haven't talked about him on here, but he creeps me the fuck out. Bad. I haven't seen him in a long time, but there's been times where he's like come walking past my house and I just get this like vibe. Like I don't know. I can't even explain it. And I just worry about that kid. I don't know. You know, you hear stories of neighbors going after neighbors for no fucking reason. Like, you know, so I keep my cameras on. I have cameras at my house. I make sure my doors are locked, my windows are locked. Like, you just never fucking know, dude. You know, you don't know, but not everybody thinks like that, especially when you're 20 something years old. You know, you're not thinking like that at that time. I know I wasn't, you know. I followed true crime for a long time, but I didn't always. I think the older you get, the more you realize how dangerous the world is, and like your own mortality comes into question more. When you're 20 years old, you're kind of living carefree life, you know? So I'm sure in her mind, she probably came up with a million other rational explanations for things. You know, I don't want to believe that this girl, I don't know the girl, I don't know what she looks like, but I want to hope that she wasn't, you know, just like, oh, fuck them, you know, and went to sleep. We don't know. Someone close to me was murdered, beaten to death. Her roommate heard it and got scared, escaped out the window, and didn't even call law enforcement. It's hard to say what some will do, as messed up as it is. Right. Look, I live in New York, okay? And this, you hear this shit all the fucking time out here. And I actually was just watching, I'll talk about that after, but here in New York, like, dude, somebody could be like dying on the street and people fuck, like in the city, I'm talking, not out here. And people will walk over you because they just like don't want to get involved. I just watched this story on here about this girl that got attacked, okay, by somebody in her apartment. She was screaming, okay? And after the attack and after the attacker left and all that shit, and everything, I guess they caught him. 20 of her fucking neighbors in her apartment building testified to hearing her scream, and not one of them called the police. Not fucking one of them. I told you guys I watched this show called I Survived, and like there's been several stories on there where people have been attacked, okay? Their bodies left to die in like the woods or some, you know, whatever, some field somewhere, okay? And they somehow make it to the street and they run up to a car and the car drives right away from them, right past them, and doesn't even stop, doesn't call the police, you know, because people just don't like to get involved in things. You know, me, I would definitely stop and call the police. I mean, I remember recently, this is like either this summer or maybe the summer before, I was driving and there was a guy and a girl, right, parked at this store over here, and it was kind of late at night. I was driving to go get my, nightly milkshake. Not nightly, but I was going to get the milkshake, so it was kind of late at night. It was probably like around like 10, maybe 11, and I'm driving down, and there's this guy and this girl hanging out outside of this convenience store, and there's another guy, and they're fighting with each other, and I thought I saw the guy pull a gun or something on them, so I freaked out. I could tell they were fighting just in like the few seconds as I was passing. So I went down the road. I turned into a parking lot. I watched from the parking lot for a little bit just to make sure everybody was okay. And then I watched the other guy eventually get in his car and drive away, but they were fighting, and I drove. So then once that other guy left, I drove back and I drove into their parking lot and I asked them, like, are you guys okay? And they're like, yeah, everything's okay. Thanks for asking, and I mean, so I'm the type of person who I feel like if I saw something, I would say something, but like not everybody's like that, you know? Yeah, exactly. I survived as a testament to what people are capable of. That show has made me. I mean, I remember there was a few stories on there where like I would get into my car at night and like feel like, is there somebody in the back of my car like right now? And I don't know it. Like that show definitely makes you paranoid. So, but not everybody watches these things and gets like that. I saw that and commented how sick that was. It was that no one did at a scapegoat. So, what was the boy who ran into the bodega and was killed in the street? No one helped. Oh, in New York, that was shit. I can't remember the name. But I know what you're talking about. So, I mean, it's not like here, it's not uncommon for people to do, with strangers. I mean, if it's somebody I don't know, but people, I think it really goes back to the part where, we try to talk ourselves out of these things and think, okay, we hear a woman screaming, maybe it's somebody's TV, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll try to rationalize it in your head, or maybe she's just freaking out for, in a fight with her husband or something. Like you're not thinking your first thing is somebody be murdered. My first thought would probably be that, but that's not everybody, you can't expect everybody else to think like you. So look, the girl was toasted. They all had been partying that night. And with it being a party house, people and out. Exactly. Was that girl? I don't remember reading that girl was, from what I understand, right? The guy and the girl, Ethan and Zena, right? The other girl, they were at a fraternity house. So they were obviously out having a good time. And then the other two girls were at a bar. And then I don't know about the two surviving roommates. Like, I don't really know much about their story. But, it was they're college kids, man. They're always, when you're that age, like your whole life is revolved around just having fun and having a good time. You're not thinking about the horrors of the world. Most kids aren't. I think most people just don't care enough to get involved in someone else's problems. It's too bad. Yeah, exactly. A neighbor drove past my aunt's house as he was dragging her to his truck. Once they saw his face, they thought nothing about it. Right, Hummingbird. And like, right, that's crazy though. I don't know how people do that, how they drive by without questioning anything. Exactly. What we clearly see is danger, they still don't. I think of the shit, right? Just think of the things and I put myself in so many high risk situations when I was in my early 20s, right? That I would never fucking put myself in now. And that involves getting in the car with people who are under the influence of various substances, and driving with them. Me, myself, being under the influence of things and driving. Like things that I would never even fucking dream of doing now because I have a kid, and I'm just, I'm older and I'm more careful about life. I mean, I even think about like, shit, I used to jump on any fucking roller coaster when I was a kid. Nowadays, I'm like kind of scared, like I'm like, God forbid something happened to me, my son. Like you're way more precautious as you get older and you have kids and you have something to live for. When you're in your 20s, you're not fucking thinking of those types of things. You're only out for yourself, and you put yourself in dangerous, high risk situations all the time, and you don't really give it a second thought because you think you're like kind of invincible at that age. Not getting involved is what I struggle with because I can't watch someone get hurt and not instantly want to do something about it. I'm like that. When I was in my early 20s, this guy got into an accident right in front of me, right? He came into a parking lot and this old white pickup truck flew into the parking lot, smashes into this girl's minivan, right? And like the girl couldn't even get out of the car because he had smashed the whole side of her minivan, right? He obviously was drunk. He fucking backs out and fucking turns around and takes off out of the parking lot. And I had enough sense that, I was in my early 20s when this happened. I had enough sense. I called 911 and I waited for the cop to get there. And I told him everything. I mean, I was like, it was a white F-150 Ford pickup truck that was probably, I wanted to say like early 90s, and it had Pia lights on it. And, I knew the whole description of the truck. I still see it in my head. And the cop was like, damn, he even told me, he's like, I wish every witness was like you. Cause he's like, you just gave me like great detail about the car. I don't know if the guy ever got caught, but I remembered the car, like everything about it, the paint was chipped, like everything. And then he was like, wow, that was like the best description I ever got. Cause most people don't even know like the make and model of the car, but I mean, people are just different. I don't know. People are different everywhere. So you don't know what this girl was thinking, what was going through her head. Who knows? We need to be doing more disaster drills with these kids, including criminal disasters. Yeah. Or just educating them, safety. I think in school, they should teach every kid self-defense. Instead of playing these stupid games that they play in gym class, teach our kids how to do some safety drills where they're learning how, if somebody grabs them, what to do. I mean, I watch those types of videos, the self-defense videos and shit, because I want to know, God forbid, somebody comes in the parking lot and attacks me. What could I do to get away from them? We should be teaching our kids these things in school instead of playing volleyball. At the same time, though, you're like, oh, I don't want my kids to have to worry constantly that the world, but that's the world that we live in today. Something super weird and creepy in a tea town at night. I'll have to share. I lost that. I think it's the best thing to do is scream. See, I don't think that's always the best thing to do unless you're in public, because sometimes screaming might piss your attacker off even worse. I mean, for a kid, yeah, definitely. But that's like my biggest fear is like somebody grabbing my kid or something. I've just had to talk with him recently, because of that whole thing with the FedEx driver. I was like, Jesse, don't ever talk to strangers. Like, don't ever go in anybody's car. I don't even know if I ever like had that talk with him, because I didn't like, you don't think about those things. You don't think that somebody right in your fucking front yard, right? Your kids out there playing just like they do every day. And you just don't think about those types of things happening until they happen to, somebody else. And then you're like, holy shit. And it's kind of a wake up call. So I had a whole talk with him about, you don't talk to people that you don't know. If anybody ever asks you, you don't take things from people you don't know. And you don't get in cars or go anywhere with somebody that you don't know. You come ask me immediately. You come to me immediately. It's kind of why I feel better, because we were obviously debating getting my son a phone, because it's like, he's still young, but I honestly feel better knowing that he has the phone with him. And if he needs me, he could call me wherever he is. And if I want to, I could track where he is and know where he is. But I'm such a paranoid parent that I don't even let my son really have that much independence where he would ever be in a situation where he's not with me, by himself. I don't let him walk anywhere by himself. I don't let him ride his bike anywhere by himself. Like, he's not mature enough. I don't feel he is. Like, some of his friends' moms, they'll tell me, oh, yeah, you know, my son walks to school or he rides his bike to school by himself. And I'm like, really? At this age? Like, when I was a kid and I was that age, yeah, I walked to school by myself. My mom started letting me walk to school by myself in 5th grade. You know, but for him, no. I mean, well, his school is just way too far away for him to walk to, but I'm just saying, you know, I'm paranoid like that. I don't want to let him out of my sight. My 9-year-old has a phone. He doesn't use it, but I could track him. And if there's an emergency, well, he had the watch at first. I bought him one of those watches, but he hates wearing it. And I don't blame him because it's kind of big. So, you know, I feel a lot better with the phone on him that, you know, he's able to call me. I think cases like George Floyd makes the generation today more hesitant to get involved and call 911. Why is that? I've done the same, but wouldn't do those things today, not even consider doing that crap. We're in a different world, dude. It's really scary. I even had to tell him online, you know, don't talk to anybody online if you don't know them, because that's like a whole nother scary world that you're giving your kid, especially when you give him a phone. You know, I'm like, don't talk to people you don't know on the phone. Don't talk to people you don't know. I got freaked out this past week when we went away. I don't know if I told you guys this story. And see, again, this is because I watch this kind of shit. So, you know, maybe the average person wouldn't get freaked out by this, but I did. I go to my car one night to go get a pack of cigarettes out of my car, right? And when I get to my car, an alert pops on my phone that it says an Apple AirTag was detected near you, right? So the alert comes up and it's in the Find My Phone, you know, app on the iPhone. I don't, for those of you guys that don't have iPhone, I'll explain it really quick. Oh, thank you, Hummingbird. So Apple has a thing called, you know, Find My whatever, and any of your devices can be put on there, even your AirPods. Hold on a second, let me just plug myself in. And so I just recently watched this report about these Apple AirTags that there's guys or people, right, putting them on like women's cars. You could stick it's a little tiny sticker, this little round tiny sticker, okay? And they're putting them on women's cars and then using them to track where the women are traveling, right? So Apple has this thing with the Find My app is like your phone. Say if you lose your phone, you could look and if you have your location services on, it'll show you where the phone is, you know, on a map. So when I got this alert, it opens up the map and it's showing me exactly where I was that day. Okay. So we went from the hotel to the ice rink and then we went out to dinner and it had the whole fucking map. It had all the places we were at on this map. And like that shit freaked me the fuck out because I was like, whoa, dude, whoa. You know, this thing, it says that Apple AirTag was detected by you. And then it shows you a map and it showed all the fucking places we were at that day. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? So now I'm like freaking out that somebody sticks something on my car, you know? So I go and I tell my husband, I'm like, Chris, come here. He's like, what? I'm like, look at this. I'm like, this thing fucking knows where I was, you know? So I'm like, thinking, are you tracking me? I'm like, you know, like that's just fucking weird. So he's like, dude, he's like, it's probably somebody else. Somebody here obviously has an AirTag on them. So all the parents are down in the lobby. And he's like, does anybody here have an Apple AirTag? And like 3 of them, like all, you know, raise their hands. They're like, yeah, you know, my husband got me one because I lose my keys all the time. So that's how it knew where I was because it had detected one of the other moms had that AirTag on her keychain and it had detected her keychain. And since she was at all the same places as us that day, it was following her AirTag. But I was like, that's fucking scary either way. Cause like I saw where she went that day, you know? So it's scary. Then it showed up on Jesse's phone later on. And I was like, dude, this is scary. So Chris is like, you know, if it shows up when we're home, then we know we're fucking in trouble. Cause you know, but it hasn't. It was only while we were there. So it picked up somebody on our team. One of the moms had the AirTag, but people are using those things to like track other people. So that's why it freaked me the fuck out when I first saw it. Cause I was like, dude, somebody's following me. You know, of course, my brain goes to the worst case scenario all the time. But, you know, whatever. Good that Apple has a feature, though, that lets you know when there's one of those things around you. But like people put them on cars for several reasons. They'll try to track the car so they can, you know, steal the catalytic converter, because that's like the big thing nowadays is people stealing catalytic converters because there's platinum in it. You know, like platinum, like the same platinum they make rings out of and jewelry out of. So people have been stealing those things like crazy over here, because I have the Ring app, and like there's a part of the app called the neighborhood app, and people, dude, like every day, at least like 5 to 6 times a day, I see somebody posting about their catalytic converter being stolen off their car. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't think people realize how much we're tracked even with Android because of Google Maps. Yeah, dude. No Alexa, no Google locations. They keep the lockdown tight. See, for me, I don't know. People get all paranoid about like, oh, the government's watching us. Blah, blah, blah. I don't fucking care, dude. If the government's watching me, tracking me, I don't fucking care. I'm not doing anything wrong, so I never have to worry about it. You know, if you want to watch me, go ahead, because there's nothing exciting. I'm not doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trafficking fucking cocaine or doing anything wrong that I need to worry about. I'm not killing nobody. So you know, if the government like the average person shouldn't be paranoid. When people tell me that they're paranoid about that, it makes me question them, because I'm like, well, what are you doing that you're so worried about anyway? You know what I'm saying? If the government wants to watch me, go ahead. They're going to be fucking bored. But I don't give a shit. You can watch me all you want, because I'm not fucking doing anything. It's too far, Big Brother, for me to begin with. Then you hear stuff like this or something hacking your baby monitors. Well, that shit's scary. But I'm saying, like, the government, I don't really care. If the government wants to watch me, go ahead, because I'm not fucking doing anything wrong that I would have to ever worry about the government coming after me for. So they could watch me all day long. Somebody should have been tracking this guy, though. That's for sure. Fucking weirdo. I don't like Google and Alexa creating algorithms of my daily life and what I mention throughout the day. It's weird. I just recently hooked my Alexa back up. And I was looking last night and I was like, this is weird, dude. Like, I don't know. Some of it I think is a little weird. These like routines. I'm like, I don't know if I want that. That would probably freak me out during the day, but who is that? Okay, so I got a mail thing and it says that my packages are arriving today. And yet I think my mailman came and I didn't get any mail. I don't understand this. Whose handwriting is that though? Huh. That's weird. Anyway, very very scary. We just live in such a different world today that it's really scary. We got to be very careful with our kids. My husband threw our Alexa in the pool because she spoke out of turn. I actually was just using it because I needed an alarm clock that that would actually wake me up. So we all have Life 360 on our phones. My husband calls it the Stalker app. I like how I could see where my kids are and how fast they were driving. Oh yeah, I would put that on my kids' app too. I started getting ads on YouTube, what I mentioned throughout the day. I did too, beef eggs. They don't come by your postman. It's UPS, I think. What do you mean? What doesn't come? Mine does. We get packages through our USPS all the time. Not Amazon. It's not an Amazon package. Our Amazon comes from Amazon. Our Amazon drivers, like we have actual Amazon trucks here that deliver Amazon packages to people. But sometimes, once in a blue moon, it'll come through the postal service. But more often than not, it's coming through Amazon. Once in a blue moon. No, AliExpress, it comes through my through the post office always. I always get it through the post office. I've never gotten it from UPS or any other service. It might depend on what you're ordering, but mine's always come. I have I don't know if they offer it in every area. Yes, remember the movie Minority Report? That's funny you should say that because I mentioned that the other day. I forget why, but I was like, this isn't the movie Minority Report. Like, we can't arrest people when we don't know, before they commit a crime. Anyway, I have this thing, and I don't know if they offer it everywhere, but they offer it here, and it's actually really cool. It's called Informed Delivery through the United States Postal Service, and they'll show you. Man, I wish I had this when I was in high school because I always used to have to like race home after school to get, the pink slips out of the mail because I would like cut class. And I'd be like, fuck, my mom's gonna, because they would mail a copy of the pink slip that they gave you to the house. And I was like, shit, my mom's gonna get the pink slip. So like they have this thing now where you could sign up and it shows you a picture of every piece of mail that you're gonna get. Like, it actually shows you a picture. I signed up for it after I got that tongue in the mail, remember, a couple of years back? Because I was like, how did that thing get through the mail with no postmark on it? So, yeah, so it's pretty cool. So I could see in that I'm getting my, package. It should be coming today. But anyway, all right, I'm going to end this because I got a couple of things I got to take care of today. But I just wanted to have a little discussion because I felt like I left you guys totally hanging at the end of that yesterday. And I didn't want to do that. And I also want to call my cousin back. So as per usual, though, it was wonderful talking to you guys. And I will be back sometime next week because we're going to have the weekend here. So I got things going on. And I'll definitely talk to you guys sometime next week. So I do hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. Lock your doors. And remember, just keep your eyes out. You never know who's watching. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Have a good one.